For Joe.
Get it, Joe.
Yeah, buddy. And look, man, this market, it's been bleeding. I heard these guys say at one point, I was putting the old makeup on, and heard the Amazon. I hadn't checked Amazon today, back down to that $200 level. It was wild. I was joking around yesterday about how I had actually forgotten to there was a hold of the SPY of the 50 period. I'm like, oh, I forgot to buy it. Me, old forgetful me. And sometimes you get a little bit lucky. It doesn't matter. But anything you bought, I heard these guys say it, and we'll say it again. You got to be thinking about the long term. This market, we're selling on pops, whether that's the day trade or whether that's the swing trade, or we're looking at it on multiple time frames. That's what we're in right now. So the Nasdaq's almost 3% down. I feel like this is, when you consider the moves that we've had recently, this is on the bigger side. Like, there's no question about it. Like, we've seen 3% down, but we haven't seen 3% down this month. And considering how we started out the day, it's frustrating. Like, I'm slapping the fail on myself. I look over at Nvidia. I mean, I shorted it at the level I wanted to, but I'm not short now, and it's down 5%. There's no way around that, right? Like, you need to move on to the next, is what it is, trying to make something back. I was short SMCI and lost this morning. Hopefully I can get back. We should be able to get back to green on that one, but it's a bloodbath out there. Intel, we'll get into that. That was still in some, but that was just a bad timing issue, and not being as patient is the right word over there. But you think about the names that you like, and Meta down here, 4% down for Meta. Now all of a sudden, from that high, Meta is 15% from its high. The dip buys are starting to come in. I mean, I could get this one tomorrow in the personal account for a little bit of a DCA. Heck, he's crazy enough. I might get this one this afternoon in the old long-term account. I mean, I'd like to think that wouldn't happen. I mean, dropping another $20 in Meta seems a little bit unlikely, but today, you never want to bet against anything in terms of weakness.
Okay. Every single idea we have on here is a short. The market's having its worst day of the year, down 3%, worst day in a long time. We could probably, when Tara gets a second, she'll look it up. I mean, like, we had this Palantir short, man. We got stopped out right here, like 10 more cents and it's $6. That's trading. The worst part about it all, and I didn't even realize this until I sat back down and was like, what the? Like, my own sticky note right here. Short TQs at 70, let it go, but your stop is 70.50. So right here, this is the high of the day. Whoopsies. On the TQs. Right here. It's 70.49. It doesn't even break 70.50. But I get out, not thinking, too excited in the moment. I get out on this local break. So, anyways, that was $70.50. Now, I mean, look, the good thing is that we talk about this all the time. It's, what the hell did I just do there? Oh, man. It's about the process, right? And, I'm sitting in this seat for a reason. We have the buying power for a reason. I trade the number of shares I do for a reason. I believe in myself. I don't believe I can fly, but this move right there, it's nice that we're at the bottom now. I don't really care. We could be right here. It's about breaking the rules. And not even breaking the rules, just not following your plan. I didn't break any rules. It's just I didn't follow the plan. I got out at the recent high, ignoring the fact that I actually wrote this down. But it's not all bad or anything like that, Like, this is good. We wrote down on AMD. We'll double check our notes here, and this was an easy one. AMD 101 short. Intel 21 short. It's the two positions I have on right now. Oh, you guys can't see them? Hold on a second. There. All right. So This is what we have on board right now. Neil, guess what level this is? 101, right? There it is. It extends out. There's the top. There's 101. We wrote down 101 short, and the good thing is, man, this happened. We didn't get stopped out of that. Although that goes to 101.10, our stop was 101.16, so pretty lucky. The next one we have here, look, man, this is just a show, right? Here's Intel, 21 short. All right, so let's just have a quick little look here. So here's Intel today, you know. So if I just take away all of these fills, and I just go like this, let's just play it as simple as possible. So here's $21, right? So if you're going to go short, you're going to write down 21 as your short right here. So while this is happening, I shouldn't be in any trades, right? Because we're going up to 21. And how does it go? 21 14s, 21 somethings? So then we put on the trades, and we're just going to have a quick little look here and see. And there we go. These are all shorts. Short, short, short. Short into the pre-market high. Shouldn't be short. Short, short, short. Stopped out. Short again. Stopped out. Went long through 21. Shout out to Obi. Did the same thing. Then we said, you know what? Forget about this, man. It's at our level. Let's just stay true to who we are. We went short there again. We went short there again. And then, boom, we wound up being positive on Intel at the end of the day. So we're still, wow, we're holding a position now. We were positive when it was down here. We get some outs. Long story short, if you stick with the plan, you know, hopefully good things will happen. We didn't necessarily do that, but we are very close, man. Very, very close. So, all right, let's go over to Sharif with the rundown.
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about today. The boys are locked and loaded, and they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But in order to get the tickers up there, you gotta join Joe and I on the How to Trade show during the midday and get into that chat and vote for your favorite tickers every day. But you gotta be a sub in order to engage with us in the chat. So make sure you're liking, subscribing, and sharing. Yes, this is a look at the triple Qs. It is ugly to say the least. We are down almost 3% right now on the NASDAQ, almost there, 2.89, over 2% right now on the ES, down 2.07. The Russell, also very much like the ES, 2.07% in the negative, and the Dow faring the worst, or the best, excuse me, down 1 1/3. But I was reading a quick article there. It's going to be the worst week for the Dow since 2023, so a bit of a tougher look there. We'll see if we can rebound off these lows. All right, Guy, the first ticker as cited by you guys, Nvidia, the second worst Mag 7 performing name on the day after Tesla, down 5 1/3 right now. No specific headline, though, on Nvidia, but it is sliding down in sympathy, it looks like here, guys, with Marvell. So are most of these chips.
Well, I mean, usually it's the other way around, right? Like Marvell moves in sympathy to Nvidia, but Marvell didn't help anybody last night. You got to. This is a bigger deal than Marvell's earnings, which were not, you know, they weren't received very well. Before we get into Nvidia, we did get a super chat from Swaldemort there that I want to address. It's about you guys here and MSTR, and the question is, thank you, Swaldemort. When do we short MSTR? Why is this punk holding up? LOL. So you don't like MSTR? Okay. Fair enough. I feel like, you know, like you don't want to get emotional about stocks, but yeah, it's
never get emotional about.
Never get emotional about stocks. I mean, like it's a company, like it, don't like it. 2% down. I mean, the market's 3% down. It's underneath VWAP and it's trending down. So I'm not like it failed a high break today and has been trending down. So I'm not sure that it's doing all that well. And we noted this morning, and I'm just going to quickly show you IBIT. We noted this morning that it wasn't like Bitcoin was falling apart. I think this is what you're getting at. It's like right here when Bitcoin lost support. Why didn't MSTR lose support? I don't know. I think we just observe the fact that it did. I was saying the same thing about Mara. I'm like, I don't want to mess around with Mara for longs when Bitcoin was breaking down. So I try not to assume a correlation should be there. And if it's not behaving the way that makes sense, then I don't want to touch it. As far as Nvidia goes, you know, I can go back and say like why Why? Nvidia 115, SMCI minute. We had a chance. I finally had gotten back to green on SMCI a second ago, but I'm still in some of it. Intel 22 fade yesterday, looking at 21 over 2020 would be a breakout. So we can go over that, but Sean just showed it to you. I did exactly the same thing on Intel. I didn't get it all back. I got about 2/3 of it back, and that's it. Palantir, I said it feels a long shot, but 78.50 and 82 for mean reversion plays on Palantir. Apparently, it wasn't that much of a long shot. But yeah, it didn't really stick to the plan either. And Nvidia 115, it just turned into support, turned into resistance today on Nvidia. I think the bigger picture for Nvidia, let's just zoom in. The bigger picture for Nvidia is we're now back underneath that 113 support level. You could be retaking some prior lows. And so the question becomes, at least for myself it is, bought some SPY, should be buying some Meta probably I'm in vacation or tomorrow maybe, who knows, maybe this afternoon, it depends on when it gets filled. And I think Nvidia gets down in the 100, close to 100, I want to stink bid somewhere in there. Because I think this is going to be let's just patiently DCA into it. We're downward trending. So getting aggressive into longs in our long term, not the way to go. Just patiently pick up the things that you like. Let that PE come down a little bit. You got Broadcom tonight, which is you think Marvell's a big deal. Broadcom's a big deal. So that's a big one coming after the bell tonight with Sean and Joe.
Oh, Broadcom's coming down after the bell tonight. Okay. All right, so we're long into Alibaba. We just took 25 cents just like that, boom to boom. We're still in it, but there it is right there. Quick little, we wrote down 138 for Alibaba today. So, more emotional damage. 138 is written right here. The only long we have for Alibaba today. Emotional damage. Yeah, Sharif, we're having it. Now remember, man, we talk about this all the time. We're flat. We had a big day yesterday, and we're flat today. To me, that's a great thing, considering, the emotional damage that we're suffering. There's 138 on Alibaba as we wrote down. So we already missed it once, and it ripped up $250, big 250. We'll take it here and see what happens. All right, Nvidia. Hey, everybody. All right. I didn't trade Nvidia today. I said we could get into this 110 earlier on. We said that earlier. We said even 108 possibility. And yeah, that's what happened. There's 110 and change. Look, man, it started early. You did have a nice little battle back. Yesterday we had 115. It was the number one stock traded P&L wise yesterday. And if I looked at it today, it would have been the number one P&L stock traded as well, but I didn't look at it. Instead, we have the number one P&L stock right here with AMD. So we did the same thing, man. I just chose AMD over Nvidia. It's anybody trading can see some of these levels. I actually think it's more obvious on Nvidia than it was on AMD right there. Yesterday, we crushed this 15, whoops, we're still on that, that's why. We crushed this 15 long over and over again, Neil, over and over again like it stole something. And then right into there, it's the same short again. So we were just looking at the wrong thing there, but, what are you going to do? We have the calls. I'm not upset to have the day I had yesterday, and then to watch what's happening here today. Happy to be flat on the day, but even more happy, more happy for that. More happy for a lot of people that were able to catch the short and stay net short, but also pretty happy for the trades that we do still have on. So one trade that we had made today was Apple. We'll discuss that. We were short Apple as well. We'll discuss how we failed on that. Let's go get the story from Sharif.
Before we go, Intel's trying to get into VWAP again. So, it's bounced a couple of times off VWAP. One time it didn't. Looking for this to break. I didn't reload the last time it bounced off of VWAP. If it breaks VWAP, I'm looking for another leg lower. As this one's relatively strong, but it just turned red as the market has been bleeding down 3%. So Intel's kind of relatively strong. Let's talk some Apple, Sharif.
Apple, guys, I mean, it's one of the best performing Mag 7 names today with Google, not down as much as the others, trying to hold 234 down, though, 2/3 of a percentage point. We got this to start the day. Ming-Chi Kuo, well-known Apple analyst, always chimes in about, you know, the behind-the-scenes stuff, says Apple's working on its first foldable phone expected in Q4, guys, of 2026, Q1 of 27. Needless to say, that is down the road. Price is going to be between $2,000 to $2,500. That will be their most expensive iPhone ever, if that's correct.
Every new major release, it's a different one, is going to be more expensive than the one before.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. To be honest, like I didn't trade Apple today. The only thing I'll say is I'm very intrigued by foldable phones. That said, I'm not an Apple guy, but I think, you know, I kind of think they're cool. And I think when everyone makes one and then it gets a little bit popular, Apple's been really, really, really good. Like once it's like, okay, yeah, this is a thing, people like it. Let's go try to make a better one. Like I think that's their bread and butter, and it works well for them. So, you know, good on them for doing it. Right now, I think like a lot of other stocks, when I pull up a daily chart, I'm like in a not yet mode. Although this isn't on the priority list for dip buying for me, but if it was, it wouldn't be on the immediate horizon, I guess would be the best way to think about it. I just think there's a couple of other names I like a little bit better.
All right, look, we wrote down Apple short 136, 236 today. It came in, like I said, this one, fine. We wrote down 236. We wanted the 236 short. We didn't short it until 236. Once we got that short, it turned into a $1.50 winner. What's up, Dexter? Everybody there in the chat. Hope you're doing well. All right, then it came back, and this is the part that we're upset about, but we're not upset. This is just, we shorted the pre-market or yesterday's afternoon high. And it just didn't work out at that point. But the problem with this strategy, and again, trading's all hindsight, you know, we've already talked about this in the chat before. No one cares if we're up or down. No one ever asks us any of those questions. You just want to learn stuff. So I'm trying to teach it here. There it is. We should not be short there. We did not write this down. It was not part of our plan. We knew Apple was strong. Apple was going up. We should have avoided the short. So we shouldn't have been short there. It didn't cost us anything. We got in and we got out. Thankfully, it didn't cost us anything because it does go up to 237, almost 238 right there before coming back in. But Apple's pretty strong. I mean, I like the stock. I think it holds out well. The #1 consumer company of all time. We'll just keep holding out for that. It's nowhere near like, you know, the 200 period I think is down here at 220 or so. I thought, if this loads, there it is. 225. So we're actually starting to creep up. So that 220 was, I guess, last week. Now you're up here to 225. So you're getting close to the 200 period. There's many names underneath. This name I think is a buy at the 200 period moving average. But again, you know, buying that or buying the index is kind of like whatever. All right, so we are still, we're in, and again, share size doesn't matter, so zip up about that, who cares? We're still in this trade, and it's starting to come back down. So if we can get something back into here, then oh boy, you know, this frown, which is a fake, will turn upside down into a fake smile. So we're getting ready here, $20.50. Get ready for Intel. I think it's going to be coming soon to a price near you. $20.50 on Intel. All right, let's go talk about another name getting destroyed today. Unfortunately, Tesla.
They all are. They all are.
One that I own.
The worst performing Mag 7 name today, guys, on in the market. Tesla down 6 2/3, really close to those lows. We got this decent headline today that they were looking at opening up a third mega factory in Texas, this time in a suburb of Houston, and it's supposed to build their mega packs, these huge storage capacity kind of blocks that they put into different areas to help power and to help power some of the solar panels that they have as well. So we'll have to see how that all does. Market not really absorbing this.
Wow. The second you finished there, Tesla was down 6.66%. Not ominous at all. Tesla, we felt this about Tesla that, I mean, come on. It wasn't even that crazy of an observation. And when we were bouncing the last little bit that, hey, it doesn't seem like they're out of the water at this point. Or out of trouble or whatever. out of the penalty box, whatever euphemism you want to throw out there. I think there's a reasonable chance that I remember buying this at 222.22, and I feel like I said it the other day. I am bidding at 222.22. It wasn't just a joke. I'm doing it again because I think we get down to that 200 support level, and it's reasonable. We're trending down into it. So I didn't trade Tesla today. And I don't have an obvious, like Sean said, it would be easy to say, yeah, but look at this stock. It came right back into the opening range high and turned around. Well, I was battling the demons with Intel at that moment, and maybe Tesla would have been easier to just short that as a weak stock. But, I think in this particular case, just try to play the trend the best that you can. And the other thing here is I did just get out of SMCI right into prior support levels. So SMCI, I shorted on the open on the way back, pretty much at this same level. I guess it was an interesting level to have interacted at, 36.20. Came back, and just way too late on SMCI because I could go back and ask myself what I usually try to do here. What are the favorite things I like? I like support turning into resistance. Well, heck, I didn't even try that. And then I like the prior range highs. Well, I didn't try that one either on SMCI. I didn't go short until it had already dropped $2.50. Better late than never, but it's always a process. As I say, it's always a process. You're just trying to be, someone said 5% bet every single day, 1% bet every single day. I know Joe says that. I think it's a wise thing. But at the end of the day, all of these stocks, basically penalty box. You probably have the VIX up today. Maybe you have some consumer discretionaries might be okay. I don't know. Consumer staples maybe might be okay. I haven't really looked at energy. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But Tesla, yeah, long term, I'm bidding in the 220s. And I think that's a very reasonable chance we get there in the next week.
Yeah, okay. Last buying at 220s and next buying at 220s. I mean, the problem is I got to sell something at the top. You got to get out of some of these things.
I sold some, but I didn't get anywhere near the top.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I sold some at 360 something, right? So no,
okay, that's not bad. No, that's good.
The high's 480.
You never, wow.
No, look, I don't pretend to be perfect about it, and ultimately, I don't even think I should have sold. I should have just held it forever.
Yeah. And I mean, every time I buy and sell stuff, obviously I don't know if you do it, but I timestamp it there on Twitter. You guys can go have a look on that as well if you want to follow some. I bought the S&P yesterday, so all right. So and then we sold Alibaba. We actually got a good price on Alibaba. I'm back into Alibaba right now. So here we go, man. We're in it against 138. So we just bought the same price again. This is where we're at, man. We're long at 69s. It shows it on there. Okay, good. So I do have another bid down here at 130. What am I doing? 138.20. I have some offers just in case we spike up there. So that's going to be a level now that we're going to look at there for that name. Look, man, Tesla's is what it is. Everyone's smart until they're not, right? I mean, Randy called the bottom 2 days ago at 280, came in here when it was at 290, thought he hit the bottom. All right, it's 260. We all loved Rivian at $13, $14. It's $10. Is it going to be a buy there? Is it going to be a buy at 8? I have no idea what's going on. All you can do is do what we keep talking about, man. Zooming out, looking for key levels and trying to figure it out. This name is going lower. All right? That's about as much as I can say about it. It's underneath the 200 period moving average. People hate demand. People are starting to hate the company. The cars aren't selling. This is just the beginning. The stock is going lower. I'm long the name. It sucks to say that, but something's going to need to turn over here. I'm waiting for the cabs to come through, man, and get that all figured out, the full self-drive and what's going to happen with the robo-taxis. But until then, it sucks. I told you, I bought this at 330. I thought this was going to be a stop right here, and it was. We were able to take some, we brought it right here, and it came back up to 360, as Neil mentioned, and then whoosh, all the way to the downside.
Yeah,
so, we had $30 profit, but who's going to take that, right? So that's why we're just showing you what we're doing here on our show. And right now, Intel, bring it on back down, man. This is going to be hopefully, get us back in there into green. I'm red today, and we're going to hope, we're slightly red. All we need this to get is the 50 right there, and we're green. So not a huge deal there. As we can come back in, we're red basically, I think a seventh or so of what we were up yesterday. So We're doing pretty good. All right, what's next? Oh, Alibaba, what we just talked about. All right, Sharif, quickly to Alibaba, back to me, and then we'll go back to you for Rigetti.
Sure, Sean. Sounds good. 1.75 to the downside, hanging out at those lows. Alibaba at that 138 area. We had a good headline today, and we actually gapped up, filling that entire gap, though. Looks like they're going to take on DeepSeek with their new reasoning model. Goes by QWQ32B. Apparently uses like a fraction of the parameters, but is able to actually give you the same type of information, just more efficient, guys. We'll have to see how that all works out.
So we'll just do this quickly because we got to get going on here. But all right, so Alibaba, we're in it right now. Again, we wrote down 138. It may not hold. I also didn't think the NASDAQ would be down 3% today. I mean, obviously the whole sticky note is littered with shorts. This is the only long. So we're going to wait. Oh, we got it. We got a fill there. Just a couple seconds ago. Wow. Okay. So I was actually speaking before too. I was like, this is not the greatest time to be an intraday trader because like stocks will do something like this. And then if like you don't have an offer there, whoosh, like you close your eyes, literally 2 minutes later, you're down 50, 60 cents from that fill. I didn't even know I got that fill. We wrote down 38 here as a possible bottom for Alibaba. So 138 came in. We didn't take it again. It was right at 11 o'clock. I wish I would have noticed it, but it may be too late to notice right now. It's coming back in here. We're going to get stopped. Again, not a huge position. I'm looking for more down here, though, at 20s. So we're getting close. I might just punch a little bit here just in case it doesn't get down to our level. We'll punch a little bit in there. So I just bought another unit here. We'll put on like 3 or 4 units. As a total position as we get down here. So if it breaks through 138, our average price will probably be 40s or so, and then that'll be a 40-cent hit. So very, very comfortable. Affecting the net, yes, but I think we're here to trade, and we're going to take this opportunity to do that. So let's see if Alibaba can do it, man. We wrote down 138. I honestly didn't think we'd really get there today, but I was just sort of looking at right here, like right into here. It's nothing that significant. I was just like, if it's when it's a red day, I guess, how far could we go down and what names would we like? So Baba being down 2%, I think it's pretty decent, but Neil, we don't normally move in the afternoon.
Yeah, those Chinese ADRs.
We'll see if it goes here, but it's definitely going down.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, let's go talk some Rigetti because I know we have a Rader waiting.
Yeah.
Brief?
Yep.
It was an earnings miss, guys, but I mean, the market didn't really care. Reported yesterday, we ended up really moving up aggressively at the open there. We're still up 1.7%, not a bad look. Breaking down below VWAP though. Earnings per share came in negative 8 cents per share, but that was in line with what the street was expecting. Sales though, revenue missed 2.27. The street was looking for 2.5 there. Didn't matter, guys. Still up on the day.
So I said this morning, like preparation matters, and there was you can have the slightest thing that's different in your routine, and maybe it'll cause a mistake. Like so, a little bit of a later start to getting ready this morning, and didn't quite get through all of the list of symbols that I normally would. Rigetti being one of them. So it's very, very late to even try to take this. And by the time I did on trend, we had one good long, got it on a pop, kind of added back. So I did have a keystroke error. On Rigetti. Like right in here, I kind of punched too many shares. I was like, oh, no, let's just get out. I punched out of it right away. It's not like it was a big hit or anything, but I'm going to do that every single time. Then got back into it a little bit of a lower price. That ended up being a flat trade in general, but the keystroke error obviously turned me red on it. This is now underneath VWAP, and I don't feel squeezish on it like I did before. If it can break this trend before, if it holds on to like $8 or like $8.20 in here and breaks this trend, there's still time with an hour and a half to go that this 22 to 25% short name can get back to the upside. But it's got to break the trend to get exciting again. When the market's weak, I do like squeeze-ish type plays for afternoon runs, and Rigetti at least is setting up that it's made enough of a bottom in here. If you can just reverse this, I'd try the long, but you're trending down for now.
Okay, Big Bear AI is tonight. It's down to $4. This name is getting crushed. So watch out for earnings here tonight. I'm long at 496. We talked about that. I'm not buying anything ahead of that. Big Bear down 14%. So they're really crushing some of these names, including our Palantir. Hey, take a look at this Rader trader. Short, stopped out. Whoops. Happens to the best of us. I'm sure it's happened to Mr. Rader Trader. But, all right, so Intel, boom. We're making that cash right now on Intel. But look what our average price is right here. Looky what we find. So our average price is 29s. We actually it's not that we took more shares, I just made the wrong calculation. So right here, we're still in that. It's a 3 or 4 unit play. We're long now at 29. We just try to offer 35s there. See if we can get just some out because the market's still going down. I don't even know, there we go. I don't even know why Alibaba is going, trying to go back to the upside right now, but we'll try to support that play as Intel's breaking down again as well. So more fills for Intel, man. Let's go, man. Ezekiel Elliott right there, eating on Intel right there. It was a bad stock for me today. It was the worst. It was the worst stock on the show. Now it could turn green. That's pretty nice. And then Alibaba's trying to go. Let's go Alibaba right now, putting another green stock up on the board. So, I mean, let's see if we can get this back in, man. We'll see if we can support this trade here for Alibaba. We're up on that name. We're obviously up on AMD, as that's always at near the lows of the day as well. Intel's cranking. This has been a really good return here so far on Intel. So Intel's been good. Let's go. Here goes Alibaba, Neil. We told you traders unite, guys. This is it. Right off that level. We've still got shares. This is a good position for us. So here we go. This is going to be Greensville for us, man. It's going to be a tough one today to battle back, but we've done it. Let's see what winds up happening right here. Sharif, it's happening live. We're doing it live. Other traders will talk about it. I'll show it to you. Here it goes. It's Alibaba, and it's making that move. So let's just, remember, trading's not supposed to be emotional, so calm down. We're happy about it. We're back to Greensville right now, Neil. Today is another good day. And the thing that I'm most proud of is we discussed this trade live with all of y'all. So there it is, man. Posted up at 8 o'clock this morning, 8:30. My preparation today, similar to Neil's, was ass. But we're perfect on this sheet. Oh, man. We just got to get better, man. We just got to get better. We got to get better. We got to get less emotional. Too much emotional damage over here, Neil. I'm not showing my positions. Yeah, they're there. Those
all the positions are there.
Those are the ones at the bottom. All right. Yo, what's up, Rader Trader? Let's bring him on. Let's get this on here.
Let's not let the man wait a little bit. Just before we get there, I know there's a lot of names that people are throwing around. Palantir just bounced off of $80 even. There was a bit of a, look, if you have level 2 up, there's a bit of a bid there on the 80 level on Palantir, at least when I saw it. So it has a chance to get down there. It's also SSR. SSR is now down 10% on Palantir. So potential SSR bounce at the 20 level. Let's bring in Rader Trader. Andrew, our good friend. What a day in this market.
Guys.
What's up, my guy?
So what's up, guys?
Yo. Last time I thought we saw you, you had a little more color in your face over there. What's going on over there?
Did he?
What? Sometimes I go outside, sometimes I don't, Sean. It's just routine at this point.
Yeah. I feel you on that one, my guy.
Belief,
I feel you on that one.
I can make myself multiple different colors with this camera. So
you're
I'm no
good, man.
photographer. I'm a trader first. But believe me, I don't know this camera very well. So sometimes I look like Casper the Ghost.
Amen.
Other times I look like LeBron James.
This is why I really like having you on the show, because you're a trader first. So that means a lot. It means a lot to me, for sure. That's happening now. I love talking trading with traders. And here we go. We have Rader Trader back on the show. All right. So I have no idea. We don't talk about what we're going to discuss pre-show or anything like that. What I want to talk to you about, though, right now is something that you've mentioned to us a couple times in the past of trading, and it's the IWM. So I'm not sure if you've looked at the Russell or anything like that. I know you're all over ETFs, and you have ideas about rates and what to trade in what kind of cycle. So where are we right now, in your opinion? Because if we look at this IWM daily, we'll just call it up on my chart right here, like we're pushing some pretty nice levels where, Neil just talked a little bit about Tesla, looking to pick some up, maybe lower. I bought the S&P yesterday. Neil bought some today. Should we bother with this? We know that we're not in that rate cut cycle that we thought we would be in this year. Now we're having pressures, obviously, with tariffs, probably hurt small companies, right? What's your opinion on IWM and maybe some of these smaller cap names, as Neil and I mainly focus here on mega cap stocks?
Yeah, sure. So as far as the IWM small caps, they have been a tough trade, especially if you've been one who's been bullish on small caps. You've found more success in trading individual names versus really the ETF IWM. However, moving forward, there are some interesting developments. A while ago, when I was actually in person with you guys during Halloween as Captain Rader and Sean was a hot dog, we talked a lot about TNX and the yield. And we said if TNX could get under 4.2, that would really help a few different asset classes, but also that being of course, IWM, and we mentioned bonds as well. Now, as far as where that's going in the future, we're at a point in the market right now where, we went post OPEX. We talked about the February OPEX being a huge change in the market structure, which shout out to Sharif and Joe. If you tuned into the midweek, or not the midweek, the midday show, they talked about put and call walls. And we mentioned that into the options expiration, that of February, you typically get a huge structural change, repositioning the market. And of course, now you have these different levels developing. But specifically with IWM, to answer that question, we're coming up to a major pivot. We talked about this, I think 2 sessions ago when I was on here, but we talked about, if you want to look at my screen, we talked about OPEX cycles and how ahead of an expiration, this relates to put and call walls, you have dealers, these market makers who are selling the puts, selling the calls, or buying the calls in most cases on the indices. They have to reposition and balance ahead of these expirations. Keep in mind, in the December OPEX, there was $6.6 trillion in just derivatives that expired, guys. This is enough to massively pivot a market because of the leverage it is. This isn't 6.6 trillion in equity, it's derivatives, which is of course, leveraged. And so that's potentially more in equity. And so when you come into this date of March 11th being the next pivot, we can expect some sort of pivot. And how you want to play IWM and these other names that are more beaten down is in a market bottom. What tends to bounce more? It's the laggards, the names that were most beaten down. They get the first, most aggressive bounce, but then past that, it's the trend leaders that get the continuation. And so, the bounce will be definitely in IWM, especially today since it didn't make a new low. And also look at banks. SPY's making a new low right now, while I believe XLF has not yet to end out this day. So some signs coming up into next Monday being the major pivot into starting a reversal higher.
All right, I mean, great explanation there. That's why I ask you these questions, man. You've got the answers, and a big shout out to Sharif and Joe again talking about those put walls, because you've brought that to our attention, like you've said, for many years. I feel like you've been talking on our show, and yeah, it was great to have you up here during Halloween. That was a heck of a lot of fun. So we're glad and hope you can make it back here again. I saw you tweet something out, and I think you nailed this one, and that was crypto. Did I see something last week? I thought you had mentioned, maybe it wasn't you, but that we could get a bounce there in Bitcoin. Are you looking at that, or have I got something mistaken here?
So I'll actually show you. Last week, I was calling for a start of a wave 2 structure in the markets. Now, specifically with crypto, I didn't say that, but it was going to be a bottoming trade. And so last week, and this is important moving forward, because you guys have to understand, positioning is all of what's important. And I know everyone goes to Twitter to see who's right more, who's more correct. But the reality of it is, guys, you can be incorrect and still be positioned correctly and make money. That's just the reality of it. And that's not some cover to say, oh, he just doesn't want to ever be wrong. But it's true that you cannot always nail something and still position correctly for a move. And so last Friday, the 28th, I positioned for a market bottom. What we had was banks held a new low, which is a classic sign of a market bottom. You had a market that was down, and yet banks were up 2% Friday the 28th. That's a huge sign that there's likely to be some sort of bottom. And of course, that was the leading indicator. If you guys saw, it nailed kind of that 595 close. Of course, we're anticipating a big rally into the close, given how many puts were expiring that day with that huge weekly put wall that was very unusual. But that was kind of that. Now, of course, that turned over, and that changed our expectation to now we're going to push that rally back to Tuesday the 11th, starting around there for Max Payne, which is where you can expect it.
So, Andrew, I have two questions. One, you talk about the indicators, and I want to get to that in a quick second with another possible one. But then maybe firstly, when you talk about the laggards moving maybe first in catching that bounce, and you look at something like the IWM, or I know a lot of people look at a lagging like TAN, the ETFs, maybe like the Solars. Within that group, do you take it another step further and say, okay, when I'm looking to execute, maybe I want something within that group which I think is lagging more, or do you take the strongest one out of a lagging group? So that's the first question. And then the second one is, where do bonds fall into all of this? And we have the Fed not doing anything right now. But certainly, there's no question that the turmoil that we're having right now is kind of messing with, like yields are moving a little bit here. We've had TLT move around. So just those two questions I have for you. Are you paying attention to the bond market, or do you have other factors leading your thoughts?
Oh, believe me, if I was paying attention, it would be like me in class if I was the instructor, okay? So, no. But as far as everything else, so yes, first of all, laggards. To define that more clearly, when I'm talking about leaders and laggards in the market, I only am referring to stocks within the major sectors and ETFs. So the major sectors being that of like XLC, XLK, XLI, these guys, XL, anything X, those we typically look at the spider. I think there's 11 or 12 of them. Additionally, we also look at the individual industries is what we call them. So things like jets, things like XME, things like OIH, the more specific industries. I don't like to look when I'm going, hey, I want to long a lagger or a leader, I'm not going to look at penny stocks, because typically when you're looking for that broader base swing trade, you don't want to go, oh, this penny stock that's $2 is down 40% today. That's clearly a lagger. Well, when its standard deviation move is 40% every day because it's a $2 stock on 250 mil volume, it doesn't really mean that fits the rules. There's different liquidity laws with that. So I only keep it to those. Those lists you can look up. Just look up sub or broad industries and then also the sectors of the market. And those, once I get into those groupings, that's where I'll find the trades. Specifically, you mentioned solars. That's a great trade. ENPH was actually my biggest trade this week so far, rallying off the low. Now, if you actually want to look at ENPH on my chart right here, there was a few different signs to kind of suggest why this name was going to be the better name. And again, this is why it's not always important. You don't always have to be right, but you just have to position correctly. So right here, last week we had, or not last week, back in November, we had a technical bottom, huge volume here, and then you had this bounce. This got faded, and then all of a sudden you had this massive red volume candle into the low that penetrated that low prior to where everyone else was buying. This was the highest volume since August of like 2 years ago. And so what that told me was we're near liquidation, and that the most people who were going to sell are out now, and that's what you're getting. So this was a lagger. It's the most beaten down name. And so when I went to go position for SPY, I actually longed this one, initially taking a loss on the 3rd, but then re-entering at the market open around there on the 4th. This moved 10%. Plus, now is green, the market's red, it's resilient. This is what it's about. When you long the laggers off, anticipating that market bottom, you not only are playing defense, but you're playing offense because you're playing the name that's going to move more, but also sell off less in that initial market bottom. And that's why positioning matters so much. And while I'm going to probably make a video on laggers and leaders here in the future, but specifically moving on from that, again, staying with the sectors and industries, we have to talk about bonds. Now, yes. I will say, bonds are probably going to be one of the biggest trades in the next 2 years. I think other than China stocks being, what Sean was also even trading today, China stocks are going to get a lot of activity over the next 2 to 3 years. But specifically with bonds, what do we have? Well, number one, it is the highest short interest in history across the bond market. Not only TLT, but if you look at other parts of the bond market, if you look at the data, the highest shorts ever recorded in the history of bonds have been recently. And so this is insane, number one. You've never seen duration this shorted. And of course, what's also important is that you have this right here, the 10-year minus the 3-month. This has re-inverted officially. Now you can see it's going back under, which you might say, oh, well, does that invalidate it? No, because what you can actually see is previous times in history, we have seen reversions, but typically when you see another reversion after the reversion, but when you see that initial reversion, you typically get a window, 6 to 8 months, where you can expect a recessionary event. This might not affect equity markets as much. It might be a specific pocket. If you look at the different industries and the different places we've had recessions, we've had an export and import recession. We've had, again, because the definition has changed, we have not had an unemployment recession. So a big spike in unemployment and the causes of that. So will that be what causes this in bonds? And again, the long duration trade coming up, that's what I'm anticipating.
Great thoughts there, and appreciate it. And one thing I've always sort of kept in the back of my mind is, regardless of the type of recession we have, it's always like, oh, are we in one? There's always an argument over it. But the point at which everyone agrees that we're in a recession, by that point, the market's already made a bottom and you're already headed higher. So I always feel like as you start to have people starting to agree that it's happening, that is when you want to be patient and start looking for those turns, because like predicting the bottom on there, every now and then someone's able to do it. But I'm glad you had that look at bonds. because I know a lot of our viewers looking to swing are going to be concerned about where the overall economy might be headed. Any other thoughts that you have going on here? We've covered a lot already here, Andrew. I want to make sure that you don't have any surprises out there for us, which I think you usually do by the time we wrapped up a bunch of ideas.
Yeah, so a few different trades that I'm looking at. Number one, this is going to be kind of a crazier one, but I'm still looking at energy into all-time high by the end of the year. I think that 2025, it is a very big possibility you see energy make an all-time high, either this year or into next year. Now, that's a broad trade. That's, okay, Rader, you're bullish. We get it. But what? When? When is the trade? That's what matters. And I think coming into August is really going to be the time where energy really does start to pick up. So August is something I would be looking at. Again, there's a ton of activity in the dollar that you have this weakening dollar getting just absolutely slammed. And this is really a side effect of course, all the Trump policies and things like that. Of course, we've mentioned that, Trump, wants a strong dollar or whatever he wants. But when you get this weak dollar reaction, it's beat a lot of even what Wall Street was anticipating. They looked at all these tariffs and they looked at all these policies and they said strong dollar. But then now that we're getting a weak dollar, it goes, well, wait a minute, what is this going to turn out to be? So I think there was a lot of run up into, of course, the election and things like that with the dollar, people anticipating this. But now that you're seeing a lot of these policies unfold, the dollar is weakening. And so there are a few stocks that are benefiting from this the most. And one of them, I believe, is going to be Mr. Hershey's, the chocolate king. Cocoa prices, futures, are absolutely tanking. And one of the stocks I'm looking at into earnings to get a big run up is going to be HSY. So Hershey's, keep that one on watch. I think this one has a lot of potential over the next 3 months to give the bulls a lot of benefit in this name. So Hershey's, I think their guidance, next earnings will be splendid, and I think they will beat their next earnings. And so that's something to play the run up into, whether you actually hold through it or not.
I'm just saying, throwing that out there. I know I do. Favorite chocolate? Gotta have one.
I'd say Hershey's. Dark chocolate, listen, I'm not a big fan. There's Twix, there's all these, caramels, all this stuff. I just like a good dark chocolate bar. That's just what I like.
Yeah, I mean, as I always say, the darker the better. That's just how you got to go when it comes to chocolate. Great call there. What? I don't know what's so funny about it. We're just having fun there, Andrew.
Yes. Okay.
Always an absolute pleasure having you on there. You heard the call there from Andrew Rader himself, a good friend of the show. Can't wait to have you back. You can check him out there, Rader Trader on Instagram, and then get that Rader report. Andrew, it's always a blast having you on, brother.
Yeah, no, just remember, don't be emotional when you trade, guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotional damage over here, my guy. All right, thanks, Andrew. We'll talk to you very, very soon. Thank you, my friend.
Guys. See you later. Thank you.
Get some sun. All right. Now, thank you, Andrew. I mean, that kid, we really like Andrew.
Yeah, we have fun with it.
The things that guy, first of all, like he had mentioned, oh my gosh, here we go. We're starting to get upside here with Alibaba. But some of the stuff that he mentions is just factual, right? I mean, he's going over, he's calling up some of those, especially the seasonal stuff that he does. He does a lot of work, puts a lot of time and effort into everything. So definitely well respected. We really do like Rader Trader. But here we go, man. So this is $1 off that bottom right now for Alibaba as it continues to go higher and higher. So there goes Alibaba, man. And again, this is what I said. Some do, some teach. I'm trying to do both. So we put that on right there. There it is. Nice move up to 139 and change. Yo, what's going on? Orange juice. Yeah, this guy over here.
Where's Beaks?
The Pulp King over there himself, Mr. Obi Trice. You're going to be coming on with me next week when Neil is on vacay. All right. We're starting to really start to go here, man. This has been a great trade, a great rebound there for Alibaba, and a great afternoon. But it doesn't stop here. We've got to go over to Adara.
This part of the show is brought to you by Foremost Energy. Unlock the nuclear renaissance with Foremost Clean Energy, leveraging one of the biggest megatrends on the planet, nuclear energy. Partnered with Denison Mines, with properties strategically located in the Athabasca Basin, known as the Saudi Arabia of uranium. This undervalued company is poised to capitalize on the exploding nuclear market and offers unparalleled growth potential. The future is nuclear, and Foremost is your entry. On the NASDAQ under FMST and the CSE as FAT, or you can just go to foremostcleanenergy.com for details. Also, we had a lot of tariff news while Rader Trader was talking, so I'm going to break it down for all of you guys. We're still getting things coming out right now. So we currently have had Donald Trump signing an amendment to the Mexico and Canada tariffs. Basically, what this means is that now USMCA or US-Mexico-Canada agreement compliant products will be exempt from tariffs until April 2nd. So Howard Lutnick estimates that's going to be roughly half of products that come from Mexico and Canada. So now roughly half of these products will now be exempt from tariffs. Claudia Scheinbaum of Mexico, though, estimated Mexico's probably almost all of their exports are USMCA compliant. So a lot of these tariffs are being significantly dropped. And then also the White House saying that the U.S. could drop tariffs in Canada and Mexico with some progress in the fentanyl space. And some Canadian energy is still going to be subject to a 10% tariff. So if there's anything that Trump sees as progress in the fentanyl world, there we might get lower tariffs here. Also, we had some comments here coming on the state of the stock market from Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick saying, quote, "The fact the stock market goes up or down every day is not the driving force of our outcomes." So Howard Lutnick commenting how these tariffs have dropped the stock market a bit, saying that's not the driving force of what they're trying to do. And just to recap, after Mexico got its tariffs delayed with regards to the USMCA compliant items, now Canada will also be having this take place. Again, April 2nd, though, that's when the reciprocal tariffs come into effect. And apparently that's going to be the prominent placement of the tariffs, guys. Back to you.
There's Obi just sort of chilling out there. Oddly enough, in a toque, because apparently it's cold in here. Intel just came right back through 21, so I held on to a piece. We were looking for that break of the low, got most of it out. Obviously, sometimes it just does not make that next leg to the downside. I'm not going to get back into this trade. This is distinctly different. It is clearly stronger than the rest of the market. While Andrew was we're talking with Andrew, Rigetti did break trend. Going to leave the orders in, trying to get this break, but the market accelerating to the upside. But there's that trend break we're looking for on Rigetti. Up 6% after earnings. Been a strong stock, 25% shortfall, all that good stuff. I think it's got a decent chance to get back into the high, especially the way the market is going in here. So, yeah, this is the kind of name that might have made a temporary bottom. If after all of this, Rigetti didn't make a fresh low, which it didn't, no fresh low on Rigetti on earnings, why can't it get it all the way back into 10? I should check that. That's like 11.5. It's 50 period.
All right. So we tweeted it out when we took the position. Make sure you go follow me at Trader TV Sean. We put this on there for Alibaba. We made the mistake. We made the mistake of not going long the first time, but not the second time. So there's Alibaba, man. We're taking some more out. We have less than half of this position on right now. So this is really starting to, remember I told you, like, we came back and we were like, we just made back our whole day. So we're now green. And yeah, I told you, emotional damage. Now we're not showing any more emotions. Right, OB? Remember we had this talk. What's up, Dara?
Comments, and specifically comments on the market from Donald Trump. He says he's not even looking at the market, kind of echoing what Howard Lutnick said about the market not being their concern at all. He also said, though, and this I think is more key for the market, quote, "There will be a short-term disruption, long-term economy very strong." So Donald Trump seeing the long-term economy as strong, even though there will be a, quote, short-term disruption. This actually echoes comments he made during his Congress address on Tuesday night, saying that there will be, quote, a little disturbance with the tariffs. We're certainly seeing that in the market recently, guys. Back to you.
All right, let's go over, thanks, Adara, for that. Join myself and Joe. We should clean these glasses up here, man. Look a little bit more like my guy over there. Joe, you ready for the recap show? Or yeah. Am I ready? That's my show, guy. All right. There we go. Now look at this, man. What's up, Joe? I like that look. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to that again, man. Me and Joe just chilling. Man, this is called Real Traders Club right here. What's up? This is the Real Traders Club from Real Trading. We got to start that club, man. Me and you, Real Traders Club. Join us live every day. Join us tonight at 4:30. Okay, no, 4 o'clock. All joking aside. All right, let's find out what is reporting tonight, man. I mean, here's the Alibaba trade. We already talked about it. Whatever, man. We posted it up earlier. Here's what's trading tonight. I mean, Neil nailed it before. It's Broadcom. I mean, I didn't even realize Broadcom's reporting, so there goes my preparation. I mean, that 415, that's going to be a big one, man. Like Broadcom, I think that's going to be a good one to watch out for. And then right below that, man, we've got Costco. You know, Broadcom and Costco. But thing is, nah, man, we're not worried about that. Nah, I'm not.
Costco's huge.
Costco? Oh, Costco, man, I ain't trading in and out of that thing anyways. Look at what's up there, right there at 415. It is the biggest. It is the baddest bear of them all. Joe, you still good over there? Yeah, okay, good. He's getting ready for the closing show. We've got Big Bear AI. We've got Big Bear AI, and I mean, that's down 15%.
What's the expected move, 78%?
Oh, man, yeah, 16% only.
Get out of here.
Yeah, you're right here, man.
Yeah, it is, you're right.
Thanks to Tariff for putting these notes out, right? HPE, we'll find out that.
It always says it moves more than
Gap.
17%.
I think this is a Gap shirt, actually, so shout out to GP. Used to be symbol GPS. Right there, not an expensive shirt. Oh, man.
I have a couple of those.
Yeah, I don't mind Gap shirts.
So we had like basically like a uniform almost when we first started the show. Like it was like we had a couple of shirts that were all the same style in different colors, but the only good color was that one. Like all of the other ones, quite frankly, they're really.
I actually think this is different. I think I got this.
Oh, is this a different one?
I think so.
Oh, okay,
this is like a cottony. This is like
because the material does look nicer.
Why, thank you.
Actually, that material is nicer than the ones we got.
Yeah.
And they were all really bland,
I thought I had one.
terrible, boring colors.
Yeah,
if you watched the early part of the show, it was like I had this weird, terrible gray shirt. I just couldn't stand.
I think it was fine.
I know.
Yeah, no matter what you wear, man, you're a very, very handsome guy. Don't worry about that.
See the gray.
Okay, well, the grays, you can't,
Right.
There's only so much you can do about that. But, okay, so, and this is what we say about this all the time. Everyone will trade their own style. I held Intel into the high of the day. I tried to get more short. I was waiting at 05. It went to 05, did not get filled. Doesn't matter, we didn't get filled. It comes back in, I'm taking more out right here at 92 because I feel pretty lucky to get that fill. And then it just dropped into 80. There we go. I was going to say, it just dropped into 85. We didn't have a bid there. We just put a bid there and got filled just right there real time. Like I said, doing and showing. So right there, there's the fill. The next fill, honestly, like we could want the market to fall back in, and I do think it does. I mean, we just retested there. We got half back to VWAP. I don't think that's good enough, man. Right back into that support. So would not be a surprise if we do continue to fall down. But Intel's strong. Intel is green. Like, now, this has never happened in the life of Intel. Do not vet this because it's not going to be true. But Intel's never been green when the Nasdaq's been down 3%.
The day they fired Pat Gelsinger, I think of that.
I don't even think.
Maybe
the Nasdaq wasn't down 3%.
Oh, maybe the Nasdaq. Nasdaq wasn't down that much.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying
like
don't
down.
vet any of this. This is I'm speaking in certainties, but it's definitely not. And it might be true. But there it comes again. Nice move down for Intel. So yeah, man, we're making money on that trade. We've already exited. We talked about this. We have 30% left, so we didn't get out of it all. But there it goes. And I didn't really have too much reason to get out of this. I really did think we could have seen highs there, which we did not. So let's maybe get some orders in for Alibaba. See if we can get back to 139 and get a little bit out. So this is a little bit of a risky spot, understood and heard. So let's see if Alibaba can fall back in. It will not be a red stock for me, regardless of what happens. Alibaba is actually one of the top stocks now traded, just from that move alone. So that's why we were happy about it. And let's just see if it can continue to make that move back in. I know you, like I said, I know you sort of got out of Intel. I don't know did you get back in? No, so just long Rigetti. Look, I mean, Intel's falling more than I had thought right now. Huge move back in. So we were just holding. I didn't even change my stop. My stop was still here at 16s. So we got that fill there at 8.
Market is
and then, yeah, exactly. And we made 70 cents on an 8-cent stop. Right there. So I didn't even change the stop. We tried to get more shares. Like that would have looked brilliant if we did, but we didn't. We're waiting at 05, just never got printed. So we're going to wait to see if there is another downside move here. But so far, so good.
Speaking of trying to get more shares, so just very quickly, Rigetti just broke support. So I took it on the way back in. It just broke the 50 support. So I had 58.5 was my average price, and it just broke 50 support. But I just saw someone say something in chat about, oh, shoot. What I do with this? Sorry, let me get this back so I can move it. So I saw someone say in the chat that the reversions on these pops up are huge. Well, the stock I was trying to get back short where we had it before was SMCI off of 37. This wick, when it came back through 37, it was at 36.60 like that. So like the next pop, like you almost, when you see that happen, you almost have to just sort of like get in front of the level a little bit. Like just try to get in front of the level, because that type of a reversion, you're not getting it that easily. When it retakes that prior bar low and you're trying to punch short, it's almost like everybody is, so forget about it. So as it comes back to the upside, instead of being overly patient with it, I'll try to just take, even if it's 36.5, 36.60, or 37, I want back into the short on SMCI. That's one that I think just literally seconds ago got away from me there. And it's obvious to tell on that 3-minute candle when the market is dumping like this. And look at the NASDAQ candle. This is actually more egregious. That's real on the NASDAQ. Like this wick, that's not a dark pool wick or anything like that. Like this candle went all the way up to 2,200 and then closed right back at the absolute bottom right quick. So that's the type of market that we're in. So when you're shorting pops, I'm not saying get out of pocket and take a terrible price, but if it gets to your price, you know, you get a little bit quicker on the keys to get that fade. We are in a power hour. Palantir to break 80. Is it really? I just went over here. Palantir, did it break 80? No, it did not. No, 80.50. So it hasn't seen that 80 level again. And again, when it got down here, I had a level 2 up. There was a bit of a bid down there. Not that it matters. If it, the 94 million shares, a couple million shares going to get chewed through, but even dollars are pretty good. And it's SSR at this point. So I am looking for a false break of the low and a reversion on Palantir. Let's go to Adair.
Just as quickly as the market bounced, it dropped again because Trump has provided more clarity on his tariff announcement. So in case you missed it, Donald John Trump basically said that these tariffs are supposed to happen, as of right now, are going to have exemptions if for anything that's covered under the U.S., Mexico, Canada Trade Act, which is apparently roughly 50% of products, and also any cars or autos. So he's added some clarification to these exemptions. They will not be occurring here for steel and aluminum. Donald Trump said that steel and aluminum tariffs will happen next week, so keep an eye on Alcoa, U.S. Steel, anything that's involved in steel or aluminum, because those tariffs are still going to come to effect. Trump also said that the big one will happen in April when it comes to tariffs. So April 2nd, 2025, these reciprocal tariffs are going to be much larger, guys. So keep an eye on this market with tariff-related news. Also, Donald Trump just said that there will be no USMCA exemption for auto tariffs next month, which is basically what we expected, guys. Back to you.
All right, good. So, I mean, starting to pull back on some, you know, reciprocated others moving forward.
Which is just very complex.
It's just like, and this is what I was talking about before. It's like, you know, you often hear me say this is the best time to day trade and this is like the best market ever. Not now. I think that right now it's a lot of back and forth, and a lot of the decisions that you're making, you know, you're going to get stopped out on wicks. We talked about what happened to me on Palantir. Like, to have got stopped out at $88 there is when the high of the day is 88.20. It's kind of actually, I think it's even worse than that. But this is what I mean. It's like, you know, we were looking short. Yeah, there it is. So our out is like 88.20. The high of the day is 88.38. But it doesn't matter. I'm going long Palantir against $80 if it comes back here. I missed it. Thank you to whoever that was in the chat who brought that up to me, or to all of us, because I should have been sitting there. Just, it was a SSR down. Should have been there. Huge volume into that level. Great support level down there.
Yeah, we're not going to see it again.
At 80. All right. Well, we didn't. This is what I mean by turning stuff around. Like, we were bidding at the same level again, 138.20. This went to 138.24. You know, so if we get that reload, then it's another one. It's another 80 cents, but another 80 cents, oops, another $1. But we don't get it. So that's like how, like, you know, fickle some of these markets are, you know, and then it's like maybe it's worth paying that extra 5 or 10 cents ahead, but then you don't know like where the level's going to stop, right? Like if I knew that Baba was just going to reject off the 200 period, then I wouldn't have got out right here where I thought this was a decent level at 80 again, you know, but now apparently it's all the way up here. So you sacrifice, you know, when you do things like this, you know, but again, you got to make the best out of, you know, out of the best decisions out of the information that you have. So right there, 200 period moving average, we just popped and dropped on that, and we should have been there. So lesson learned one more time. AMD though, we have a very light position. We covered a lot down here. Our short at 101, again, we have to be able to cash out of that. We have to get that winner, and we did. And AMD has been an absolute ball today to trade. I mean, we've really liked trading it. It's been great for the last couple of days. We're able to hit a couple of those trades, and I really like trading AMD to the point where I didn't even look at Nvidia. Nvidia was the #1 traded stock yesterday. It was the P&L #1 by probably 50 times, and I didn't even look at it today. And now today on AMD, I'm up about a third maybe on AMD what I was up on Nvidia yesterday. And again, not talking numbers, just percentage points here. So didn't hit it as hard. Took out probably too conservative there because it looked like we were wrong. We wrote down 101 as the short. Turns out that we were almost exactly right on it to give us that $3 move. But at the end of the day, a little too conservative with some covers there. There was VWAP, but you know, we did get a lot out down there. Just missed this last little tranche to the downside. So
there's a financial term.
Yeah, big time. The tranche. How deep is that coming? Some of the banks have some nice tranches now. Intel. Oh. Yeah, you have a tranche. Bless you.
Sorry.
Intel, you don't have to apologize, my guy.
No, I didn't mute it. That's
you didn't mute it? Okay, well, apology accepted. No, just joking. Right down into here. It just hit VWAP.
We're live.
Oh, we're live? Oh my God. Okay, now I'm nervous. All right, so let's just continue with what we're doing. We're short everything except for BABA. We're short AMD, we're short Intel, and the Alibaba's the long. And we just got filled right there. So that's siren up. But okay, so that's that. I do have another bid just quickly here in case it fills. Oh, well, it's not going to now. Maybe it will. But I have Palantir down here at $80.35. So basically the very bottom. That was 30. I'm going to sit right there right now. Right here. Right now. Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see. With a stop at 80.
Oh, yeah, I muted the... Okay, now I'm unmuted.
Speak.
There's the higher low at like 80.40. I'm out in front of that, but I'm not sure. Like if this is going to revert after the 10% down, I kind of want to take the mean reversion as well. So if it gets out and about and breaks this high, I'm going to go long Palantir. Otherwise, I'm going to go off the higher low. It's not a huge distinction, but I'm going to get long in front of it. And if it makes a fresh bottom, get out, and then have another shot at the 80 level if it gets down there. So it's on trend for now, which usually means we should see a push. If it's going to hold the trend, we should get a push back into the low. And if it holds the same bottom, we'll get a decent price. I'm sitting at 55 on Palantir. So we'll see if we can't grab that one. Rigetti, which we got out of Rigetti. And Rigetti's right back in. So it didn't hold on to support. It didn't break VWAP. Hang on a second. No, it didn't break VWAP. Why did I get out? VWAP might be wrong on my black chart, which is one thing you should always do. I'm guilty of this all the time. Like if I have a chart up there and it's missing some data, like my VWAP could be different because one chart might be missing something from the morning or started at a different time. But it looks like Rigetti didn't actually break the volume weighted average price. Not that it matters, but I can still be in this with this little trend on Rigetti. It hasn't really given it up. Took it there with the idea to kind of hold it underneath that stop, and it didn't break. So it pulls back down. We'll be patient with it and try to get back in. But I think Palantir is going to move. So I want to be focused on this, whether it's the break of the trend line, which I didn't hit save. You know I do that all the time. And load it up. Make sure you save. And that's if you're using P Pro 8 here at Real Trading. I love the fact that you can save your trend lines and then it'll post it on another chart. So if I go to my 15-minute chart from my 3-minute chart, my trend line will still be there, which is great. But I have to hit save for that feature to come in. So I'm on the bid, looking for the trend break. The other thing we want to be able to look at here is a little bit of Nvidia, because every time we get into Power Hour, we've seen some imbalances on Nvidia. And if you're just tuning in now, yes, I liked 115 short on Nvidia, and when it was good, I didn't have it. And that was twice. So now that you're past that, you work to what is the next opportunity. Well, when the morning range bottom, in this case 112, turns into a key level here in the afternoon, 112, then you want to play with a player's dwell. So we'll let it get back up in here. If it puts in another topping tail candle, Nvidia to me is a short. The reversion on Palantir seems like it's going to be next, so I want to be locked and loaded there. Let me know what else you guys are watching in here. Glenn Smith, when are we going to have our first AI president? That's a good one. I think here's my fun. I love science fiction. My favorite type of novel is science fiction. You're going to get an AI president when you don't know it is one. So it'll be something along those lines is my guess. Something like that I feel like is going to be the case. Now, what symbols might you guys be looking at? Are there any small cappers that are out there that you guys think are interesting or moving? I don't really have much that's hitting on my scanner. The last halt was Lunar with the unfortunate loss of contact or loss of signal on that launch. So here comes Palantir. It looks like it's about to break the trend. Seems like we're not going to get that 80 level again. Here, DLV, do I like Hewlett-Packard? Never owned the stock, never really paid attention to it. Not a huge fan of, I'm not a huge fan. It's never really interested me. I think the growth is pretty much elsewhere. But do they report? They're not one of the names that report tonight, are they? Let me double check for a second. Let me just go live. Yeah, they're another one that reports tonight. And there's so many good names reporting tonight. Hewlett-Packard, if you like it, it's been a little bit of a dog here. I don't, but if you can find something interesting you like about the business, I think you're probably going to get an opportunity to dip by it if it does anything decent to the downside. I don't like the stock. I've never been involved in it. I think there's other places you can go. Like I'd rather be involved in other aspects of tech. Like I like the chips profusely. I like IBM. That was one of my picks for this year. I just like IBM a lot better. I think you get a little bit of a quantum long-term exposure with them. Palantir decides to fall asleep the second it looks like it's going to go. So I can't will it into existence that it's going to break that trend line. Can I check Meta, cash now? Sure I can. I got this up over here in another level too. So if Palantir breaks, great. Meta doesn't look good. No stock does. But I think you're getting a great buying opportunity in Meta once we break these lows. I'm sitting, and hopefully I'll get some fills down here. I think I put 2. I have to probably double check, which you always should. I'm pretty sure I'm bidding. Let's just make an example out of this. Like, let's say you wanted to buy 10,000. I'm not saying I want to own just that much of Meta in this year. But let's say I did, then I would put 2 here, and I'd put 2 here, and then I'd wait for the back half of the year. Or this in the third quarter to buy a little bit more. Something along those lines. Like that's how I roll, and I'm trying to get more of Meta. I feel like it's a name that I'm underweight that I want to have more of. So that's my plan of action on Meta. Good stock that's under pressure, just like everything else. And Sean and I were having this discussion. He's like, he does not buying stocks anymore because he wants to buy indexes. I was like more conservative when I started out. So I own like a lot of the indexes and usually find myself, looking for a little bit more single stock exposure. So I'm kind of the other side of it because I'm constantly buying the index. So for me, if I find a stock that I like, that I'm just like, you haven't been doing anything with it, hey, let's get a little bit more of that. So that's what I want to be able to grab. So Palantir is still looking for the same thing. It looks like maybe we are headed back down into the bottoms. It was screaming like it was going to break the top. And once again, they just fade off of those highs the second it was looking good. Yeah, so no short there in Nvidia, no long yet in Palantir.
Just got back there. Sorry I was too long. I ran into the lawyer.
Hey, what's he saying?
Well, no, I told him I needed a raise, but he said wrong department. So, said I need to buy more money to buy the dips.
You don't need more money.
And then I went on a rant, of course. That I'm not buying, and I said this to him. I said, I just said to Neil, not buying any more stocks.
Well, I was just telling everybody the conversation.
Oh, okay, good. So there you go. See, so
we talk about.
You know how we're honest, right? He just tells the same story that I didn't hear, but
that's not shady.
Is Randy around here, or what is that? What does that mean exactly? Oh, that's just like.
It's a nice headset.
Oh, I announced I'm not buying any stocks. Oh, on that note, BBAI, there's going to be a lot of stocks I'm going to continue to buy. This is more of just, okay.
What's the stock?
So I want to, when I say, no, I should clarify it because this is getting a little bit carried away when I say that. I'm talking about longer term stuff. Like, I am not smart enough, I've come to that realization, to do many things, but generally speaking, to pick tops and bottoms, and what I mean by that is like, I'm loaded up on Google, but did I sell anything? Not enough, if anything. Palantir, we got some out at 114. Who cares? like, it's like, I know we can pick winners. I know we can pick good stocks. And I think Google's at a great level right now, for sure. But the idea is like, I listen to Jim Cramer. I listen to very different other things. Maybe that's my problem. But at the end of the day, I just feel that if you're buying the SPY or you're buying the NASDAQ in times like this, right, especially for the long term, then, you know, I think you're going to mathematically, and I was just saying this to Brankles, investing is not really a game. It's a proven, you're gonna have the ebbs and flows in your portfolio for sure. But like the amount that you're down, obviously off the top of Meta, or whenever you're looking at the top of your portfolio, Palantir's down 30%, Meta down 15%,
Nvidia,
Apple bearish territory, I think today 10%. Nvidia is a great example where a lot of us like the stock, and it was just at 140 on earnings last week. What day was this? Oh yeah, it was February 26th. That's right. Oops, because I switched with you. It was February 26th, so I remember that day. So February 26th. So that's right here. We got up, maybe we didn't get, I thought we got to 140, but maybe we didn't. Okay, so let's just say we got there February 25th. Yeah, 140. All right, so there's 140. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trading days. You've lost 25%. So it's fine because we celebrate when we win and when we pick up stock at the bottom and it goes 25%, are you getting out? So no, I'm not getting out of this position right now, but it is causing, obviously we talk about gray hairs, lack of hair, loss of hair, and it's just very stressful to sit around here and I think try to pick bottoms in some of these names. I do believe in dollar cost averaging into the better companies. So I think, you know, you mentioned Costco, we mentioned Walmart, to get a little different, a John Deere, a Caterpillar, a J&J, Hershey was a great name from our guy there, Rader Trader. I think there's a lot of value in that, which is why I think an ETF, and do your own research. I don't know what the MERs are on this. I don't know, you know, what they're taking, but something like the diamonds, that's going to be the Dow 30, right? So that's going to be 30 companies that have been vetted. The S&P 500 is obviously 500 companies. So when you see these downside moves, like since Nvidia reported back there, we'll just say 7 days, you're down from 440 to 425. So you're down $15 on 400. Does it suck? Yes. But are you worried about it? No.
No.
So that's the whole thing. It's
not
like,
even a bit.
I don't want to say we're not buying stock because we are going to. We still have our swing account and all that. But I just think for longer term, trying to pick up some Bitcoin, you know, when it dips down, I think that's smart to do. That kind of goes against, you know, the investing thing. But I think Bitcoin does have a part in people's portfolios. And then buying indexes, because really, I'm still long many of these names. Like all the tech names, I'm very long. So, you know, I never really started at a young age by buying indexes. I was just aggressive. Like the least name I bought were like banks, just because I thought dividends were good. Now I think kind of a little bit differently about that. But at the end of the day, you know, high flyers like Alibaba and those, I think they're very specific to what environment you're in.
Well, the only,
you know, like rate cut cycle.
The benefit to, not to say that there's, like I haven't done the math, but I've done like I've done napkin, you know, lazy napkin math over the years to have realized when you're younger, if you take a few more shots on individual names, like the small shots in individual names versus the big institutional stuff or like indexes I was buying, I'd have done much better, right? But there has been a hidden benefit to it in that because I have a bunch of stuff that also has been giving me dividends, like I always have cash to deploy because I don't always, like I'll get to a point where I just don't even drip. Like I like to turn off drip sometimes when I want to accumulate cash. But that's what a conservative thing does. But I've given something up to have that advantage. Let's just get back to trading for a quick little second. SMCI.
Is there a rebalance again, or?
No, MSCI is like, they do the indexes. Anyways, SMCI, I make that mistake a lot. I actually type it in, like half the time I'll type that in too. Just got back up to that 37. So we've been in it a few times, but most of it's been in this range. And if it makes a local high, I'm always jumping out at the local high and playing inside of the range to the 36 level. If you're watching Palantir, then you're probably observing the same thing that I am, which is it'll go, it's very, very close to breaking trend, and then it just doesn't break the trend, and we're just slowly heading back down, and very, very slowly heading back down. It's not falling rapidly like it was into this double bottom. So I think you're getting a little bit of sign of strength. So I'm still looking for the reversion breakout long here on Palantir, and still feel like we might not get a chance to see this 80 bottom, but we are creeping toward it. So it's certainly still possible. Oddly enough, there's a couple of things already at 320 that have some early look imbalances.
That's 320.
PCG's got a 3 million buy, and then VIPS is 1 million. I'm going to double check, just make sure there isn't anything happening on PCG. Kind of a large, it's a small, it's a low price stock. I don't want to call them small. Power company out west. But PCG 3 million is the only one worth watching. I don't know if there's supposed to be anything on the indexes, but I always like to have an idea of knowing. And as I said, I had a little bit of less time preparing, and I didn't even check to see if there were any index actions that we should be looking at today. So Palantir we're still looking at. SMCI is exactly flat. I'm in at 89, it's at 88, so not really anything happening there.
All right. Yes, y'all. All right, so let's just review some trades, because I didn't even realize it was, I did realize it was 320, but didn't really notice it. So, all right, Alibaba, we just took a piece out right here at 20s. We'll do that. I did put another offer right here at 40, I believe, at 35s. So if that comes in, we'll take that fill. Still looking for a nice upside move. Now, the thing about the market is we're holding the 50-period moving average, so chances are, it's not, we're too far away from view up. I was going to say chances are we're starting to finally turn up a little bit here, but this move came right back into the low of the day and then bounced. So that's giving me a thought. President Trump's talking about student loans now. He's talking about the education system, education department, all of that. But you know what? I know somebody that might have some information on this one.
True.
Let's go to Odera.
Oh, no.
I do have info on this, and Meta Snapchat on watch. Donald Trump saying he would, quote, probably extend the TikTok deadline. So in case you missed it, April 5th is the deadline. We had the TikTok, ban extended here for 75 days when Donald Trump was inaugurated. And so that extension will end on April 5th. So keep an eye on META, SNAP. We know that this ban being extended is not necessarily going to be great there for these names. We'll have to wait and see what happens here if TikTok can stay in the U.S. But Donald Trump is apparently looking at extending this suspension of the ban, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, I'm going to read a headline to you that I think is very, very dangerous. And I'm not American. President Trump says he wants to bring schools back to the states. Let the individual states run the schools. I don't know how it's run now. And maybe it is already different. I just know there's such a different, from what I know anyways, which is nothing, there's such a different philosophy amongst the states about education and what needs to be taught and what should be taught. And I don't know if that's the way, I don't know what it is now, but I think that's also something that might be good for Doge, to get some of those controls under wraps. I don't know if it's a national thing now. But I just know that that's a little something. We go through that here too, where something might be discussed in Quebec that's not, here in Ontario. The Toronto School Board will do something differently. So it's probably already like that. I kind of think uniformity there. If you grow up in one state, but I guess that kind of already happens, right? Where different states have different, thoughts about religion and education and all that.
I'm kind of a localist in that regard.
Maybe that's fine. And I don't know what, I was thinking about what stocks to trade on that. In China, we know there's the individual private school companies there, but I don't know if there is anything there. And I also have no idea what.
Yeah, not to get political.
All right, yeah.
Just two things.
We're into Palantir. Intel's coming down. Yeah, go ahead.
I got to look at Intel. No, I took it off the prior low, Palantir. It broke that, and now I'm looking at, I got to zoom in. You can't even, there we go. Took it off the prior low, broke that low. Now we're waiting for 80. So I took one shot at the higher low. Now the 80 level's starting to come in. I did get a fill in SMCI, but Palantir is getting to that 80 level. And Daniel asked me in the chat, don't you buy the CDRs for Meta? I'll show you guys the chart of where I'm buying the stock in the US just for your benefit. But yes, I do buy mostly the CDRs, which is just Canadian depository receipts. It's essentially you buy it in Canadian dollars here in Canada. They're through CIBC. They're fantastic. But I show you guys where I'm buying the stuff on the chart.
You just got in and out of Palantir?
Yeah, I thought we'd get the 80s and didn't get it.
Okay, yeah, so I'm long here at 80. I thought we were in the same trade. I'm long here at $80.35. We just took some out at 50 for 15 cents. Obviously, our stop is going to be a break of 80s. So right now, it's more than 1-to-1 right now to the upside. So we're going to start to take some out here if we can. There it is. We'll take a 59. I'm also averaging this out. I have a 74 fill. I don't know if that's going to fill. We'll take some more out at 50 right now. So we're running the gauntlet. Your boy is positive. So I know it doesn't mean anything to you guys, but it means something to me. So there it goes. Nice move to the upside. We talked about being down like 1/7 or whatever of what we were yesterday, but no more, Neil. Here we go. And this is what we talk about again, right? This is why I get excited. Like, I'm in the trade. We're still here. This trade is starting to go higher, man. Nice little move into the end of the day. It's a 50-cent banger. It's starting to go upside. This is a big trade for me, guys. I don't know what else to say, but here we go. It's a nice move to the upside. There it goes, man. I told you, teaching, doing, we're right here, right now. Different strategies, right? We talk about that. Take yours to yourself. Like, you know what your nets are. We know what ours are. There it goes. Nice upside move for Palantir, getting into the 70s. Yeah, this might be a spot. I know you mentioned 80. We'll see if we can get this here. 80.80 is the price that we're looking for. And there it is. Bang. We get that right now. It is a hot dog kind of day here with a chicken dinner winner, though. It was Rader Trader that mentioned dancing hot dogs. And there it goes. It's a nice move back up there to the upside. So yeah, man, we're celebrating this one. It's a big trade with Palantir. There's earnings. Okay. I don't know. Ramin just said earnings.
Yeah,
so
but
let's go over to Adara.
Earnings preview here. That's probably the better way of putting that. But so we're going to take a look here at the expected moves for tonight. This handy infographic implies the ETA for all of these names and their expected moves. So biggest expected move by far is actually shockingly not Big Bear AI. It is Samsara IoT, which it reports at 4:10 p.m. A lot of little small runners on watch today. Serve Robotics and BBAI both going to be on watch here. Gap reporting, but the two biggest ones by far are these two guys right here, Broadcom and Costco. So keep an eye on these earnings. You can check those out at 4 p.m. Eastern with Sean and Joe in about half an hour for that market recap show. You can check this out on X at TTP Research. Back to you. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Yes, sir. And you may not own Broadcom, but you know you own Broadcom somewhere. That's the joke of it's too big in the index that everyone, you got a piece of it, so I know you're going to care about it there. I didn't realize Samsara was even reporting. It's a big list of names that are reporting on this Thursday. So I just reloaded back into SMCI here. Got to the 60s. Now we're right back up at 90. So reloaded the 90s. It went 30 cents down. The bottom of the range is 70 cents down. So if it breaks out the local high, we'll jump out of it. The market is, okay, maybe. I mean, it's not, the bounce isn't as good as it. It kind of felt like it was a better bounce, to be honest. But I guess the market overall isn't doing that big of one on the NASDAQ. So in about 2 minutes, we'll get a few other names on the early look. But I did just reload SMCI. Nvidia isn't really doing anything. Palantir, great one. I thought we'd get filled. You can't tell by the scaling, but I got out. I went 60 and got out underneath 45 to get back in the teens, in front of 80. I didn't get it. I should probably just cancel it now. But I didn't actually get it back in there. So if we can get one more shot, I don't know if we will. I feel like an SSR bounce this late in the game, you want to happen by now. Like if it hits that fresh low in the bounce too late in the day, I don't want it. And the other thing to keep in mind is Palantir is going to be SSR tomorrow. And we've seen what happens the second day on an SSR play. Nvidia had a ridiculous one when it did it last time.
All right. Yeah, there's the explanation. And again, like 15 cents worth of a stop for Palantir, you know, pretty conservative, but that's the style. And I had the same thing. Like my long was down here at 35. If it breaks, O's were out. So for me, I'm like 40 or 50 cents, right? So it's kind of the same trade, just a little bit different levels. I bought it a little closer. And this is what I'm saying. Like, and I talked about this with Obi before. You can't use bigger share sizes and get too. I can do whatever you want, Ramin, honestly. Whatever you need from me, I am here for you. At the end of the day, when you're trading like that, you have to have your outs, but you have to be more specific about when you're getting in, right? I still feel, what? Where was my, oh my gosh, where was my bid on AMD? Bid on 98.20s. Oh yeah, I didn't even get close there, 98.50. Okay, so I feel lucky on AMD because we wrote down 101. And we should not have been shorting into here. This short's fine to start the day. I'm fine with that. You know, we broke the pre-market low. That was a good trade. That's 50 or 60 cents. But this and this and this, pretty carried away. These ones are fine. But again, you know, going short into 101, if that's what you're going to write down, then that's really, you know, what you need to be waiting for. All right, man. Many people believe that trading is a hard business, and it is. I'll tell you that right now, and that's why I want all of you to understand this program with Real Trading Campus is the real deal. It's brought to you by some of the best trainers in the business, all right? You can scan that QR code right now. It is not available to U.S. residences. But if you own a U.S. resident, no, if you're a U.S. citizen, cannot participate. But anywhere else, sign up. It's a curated stock list. You can now trade U.S. equities, so that's kind of cool. It's the same platform that we use here right now. It's trying to get traders comfortable in the prop environment, right? You're going to be trading other people's money as you go, and it is going to be a great experience here for you guys with the Real Trading Campus. So there it is. Join the exclusive online community of like-minded individuals. I mean, it's how I started. We brought Neil on board. It's been great. Now the show is here. Follow this, man. This is exactly basically the road that we used to take traders through as managers, and now we're doing it for you guys there. It's Real Trader. It's Campus program. And I mean, right here is a perfect example. Let's run through some of the numbers. Money. Neil, we're putting some numbers up right now. That's a dollar winner right now with 35, 40 cents worth of risk right there for Palantir. All right, we did this earlier on in the day. This is yesterday's numbers. They're not huge, but this is from Real Trading, so could be people in the Trading Campus program. NASDAQ, New York, 16,000. These are US dollars. 13,000 Amex and NASDAQ. And remember, part of Real Trading and part of what we do over here, over 60, you won't be able to tell between me and Neil because we only trade the US markets, but New York and NASDAQ, Amex, NASDAQ, there's Canada. If you're American, please close your eyes and plug your ears.
Don't.
All right, there's the Canadian market. Unfortunately, I do not have any other countries on the board. Let's go, Palantir. You know you can do this, my guy. Canada there, Amsterdam, LSE, Paris. LSE, what is IOB? Is that their overnight? I'll have to find out. LSE, Madrid, Milan. We had LSE on the show. There it is, man. Palantir Now Dollar Club. We just took some out. Paris, Blue Ocean. There we go. We talked about an overnight market there as well. Canada, TSX, Oslo, Paris. I'm working my way. Hey, wait a second. There it is. We skipped over something very, very important to many, many people around here. It's probably not that important to her, but you know, the fact that we're trading the Saudi Arabian market is great because you get Saudi Aramco, various names in there.
I don't know what else you get, but that's a big one.
Yeah, me neither. But oil, gas, great people of Saudi Arabia. But no, anyways, I just wanted to show you that, you know, the many different markets, and it's where your bread is buttered that matters, right? It doesn't really, like anybody can trade any market, find sort of your niche. Obviously here on the show, I've clearly found mine, and it's right here with these names. There we go again, man. Neil, it's now the #1 P&L name. Alibaba's #1 and Palantir's #2. And we made it all back from this mistake right there. So, I mean, we're really happy, man. We're feeling pretty good about it. It'll be another big day. When it turned out, it didn't start out that way, but we stuck with what we needed to do. We stuck with that confidence, and it really came through for us in the end.
Yeah, just a quick note. We do trade other markets. Like I do trade Toronto. You know, we talk about like there's other stuff like market making and other kinds of things that are in there. And over the years, like there was a time when we had our own office over a decade ago, we temporarily could not trade the U.S. markets. It wasn't a very long amount of time, and we had to. We were either close the doors or learn to trade a different market. At the time, we were making a little bit of money on Europe, and we all went over to Toronto and were able to do pretty well, just kind of doing some similar things. This PSTV, I see a lot of people talking about it. It just broke the high of the day. It is 300% to the upside. It just had a halt, reopen, and break the top, and it is now cruising toward it's a little bit late in the day, and I usually would never touch a stock this late that's trying to break a major high like this at 150. This is exactly, come on, this was a 20-cent stock 2 days ago. Nobody's going to be taking profit in front of $1.50, so I generally think that this is an obvious place. Taking profit makes a little bit of sense on PSTV. I'll just leave it at that. I'm glad you're in Palantir. I thought we'd get 2 cracks at it. I'm more of a, if I'm going against the grain, never hold it past the low and try to catch it on the way back up. Now, some of that has to do with when I do like market making strategies, that's like ingrained in me that if I don't do that, I get wrecked. So I kind of sometimes should do it the other direction where you just go in front of the $80 level, but I just generally don't like that. I tend to not want to be all in as it's going down into that big flat bottom. So that PSTV, lo and behold, it got close to 150, and you're starting to see some chunk orders. Anybody trading, if you were just watching level 2, when I say chunk orders, it gets up close, and you'll see 5, 10x on the offer as people are getting out of bigger positions, and the daily chart would suggest to you that that's obvious why they'd want to. All right, 20 minutes to go to the imbalances.
20 minutes to go,
yeah, still nothing. It's just PCG on there. There is no index action on PCG whatsoever. So I'm just looking over like any scanners that I have up there to see what's moving. Like my trade rate as a stock I've never heard of at the top, KORP. But after that, it's Amazon, Intel, Marvell, Nvidia, Palantir, Tesla. Some of the things that you would expect to hear when you are looking at the markets. But I tend to think it's important to have indicators out there that are going to work for you, especially this one, so you're trading in the right spot. And that kind of brings me to e-signal, everybody. Because at the end of the day, win, lose, or draw, every day you're trying to get better. And if you're a trader like everyone here is, and you're looking for the tools to make you better, then what's going to be a better opportunity than a free shot at e-signal for 1 month? Because they're doing it free for a month. It's an easy-to-use platform. It's very user-friendly. Like, if you've been trading, you'll understand it. You have all the tools and indicators out there for you, all the scanners you could possibly imagine, so you can make your own, curate your own list. You can back-test your strategies. You can forward-test, which is important. Not just back-testing. You want to see how it's doing in the current market as well. You can do the tick replay. You can attach the API. You can automate trades. You can attach it to your broker so that you can trade directly into your account for a lot of brokers. I'm not going to say every single one. And the key thing is, it is free for a month. So check it out. Scan that QR code below. If it works, it does. If it works or doesn't, you get a free shot to see if it can work for you. So it's also linked in the description for e-signal. So shout out to them. SOXL just popped up there on my trade rate, which I still have not. I keep meaning to put a filter on there for price, because I actually want this one not to have too many. Not price. I mean volume. That random stock that was up there, it was too little volume on the day. Like, you need to have you need to have a KORP. You need to have a volume limit or something, so that you don't have a stock which is like, oh, it's done 100,000 shares on the day, but it just did 50,000 of those shares in the last couple of minutes. That's useless to me, because it still hasn't done enough. Fed's Waller's talking right now, but I haven't heard anything big.
All right, we're going to get some more out here on Palantir. The big thing, as we continue to go, we're out at 338 right now. So we have 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 12 minutes until those imbalances come out at 350. So we're getting, on Palantir, I just had 10%. I now have 9% left. So if it breaks back down, I will not be getting back in. We've already done what we've already done today. We went from the rear, as far as trading is concerned, like, we were down, it was not good, to right now, being where we need to be for the day. So if we can wind up like close to our daily goal, I think that would be fantastic. We're getting closer to that. But again, it's about battling back. It's about having that perseverance. And it's about having like a good success rate on your trades. And I mean, that's what Neil just mentioned about back testing, right? Like, for me, and I know you took a 15-cent hit on Palantir, but like, I've sat here and watched Palantir, and I think this is what I do best. And I think Obi does this great as well. We all do our thing. Like Neil was talking about market making and stuff. Like, reading level 2s and the way the stock moves here and just how fast it moves and how it can teleport. Shout out to Luca, how he talked about that. 15-cent stop on Palantir for me, like that, like for the strategy, and again, it's just a different strategy, is like, it just moved 15 cents when I was talking, you know? So just to get in and out like that, for me, it just creates too much noise. So that's why, like, when I let this thing drop back in, and remember we talked about missing it when it came back in, but we stuck with our spot because, you know, I had just thought this was a decent spot. That's the low. I wanted the low. We still have the same ideas of breaking through 80. And if it would have just kept going down, we would have got hit, right? We would have lost 40 or 50 cents right there immediately. But that's why, you know, you risk size appropriately, and that 40 or 50 cents would have done nothing. I mean, obviously, it wouldn't have put us back to the top, but it bounced off that level. So we played it with SSR bounce, and we played it with a level of $80, which we've seen hold right there, right? So, I mean, obviously it's wicked down to 78, whatever that was. But $80, we like that level. It's an options play there, down there as well. I still think it could break lower right now, so we are not reloading that trade. But that just goes to the whole E-signal part. Get to something where you can backtest and make sure. Like when you look down at your net at the end of the day, you can see how many, like AMD, check. We don't have any stocks. Like what I'm down right now on the TQs, I am down a quarter of what I'm up on Alibaba. I am down less than that on what I'm up on AMD. My worst stock today is Intel, which is about half of my best stock. So when I'm looking through the numbers today for myself, despite not having the greatest day ever, we can tell that we still had a pretty good day because of those metrics, you know? And I think that that's something that you have to measure and you have to figure out all of that stuff. So that's why when we talk about using trade ideas, for example, right here, using eSignal, understanding our own software here at Real Trading, you can download your trade list, throw that into a CSV, do the math, do the work, right? And just come back better, you know, the very next day. So that's where the confidence comes from to do this stuff. Like I've traded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 symbols today, and we'll be 3 and 3. With the greater, I just told you the examples there, is why we're net positive, because the stocks that we're up on are more than the stocks that were down. That won't happen every day, but it's happening more often than not, which means we can start to increase our share sizes, which is what we've done. So even despite this day today down 2%, wow, we were down 3% on the NASDAQ. What are we still down 3%?
Still down 3%.
We're able to catch some of these bottoms because of discipline. So we're in this MAME right now, $1.20 in the money here with BABA, and we just made that dollar on Palantir. So the longs have come in and have put us to where we need to be. We just should have held more shorts early. So that's it. That's my little rant on back testing, on making sure that when you look down, you're honest with yourself and you're honest with the percentages, because at the end of the day, man, you got to pay your own bills. And the market will sometimes taketh away from you much faster than it giveth. So anyways, that's it. Tariff paused until April. Yeah, Darrow's been dropping so many stories.
There's a lot.
It's been hard for me to follow.
So for everyone on that PSTV, they just someone just marketed 150 back through. So remember that level we were just talking about? It was trying to go, and a lot of people watching this one, I added up. I actually didn't pay for locates. Not that it matters. I would, generally speaking, usually wouldn't anyways, but there was sort of an obvious spot where it got into that resistance. If you're tuning in now, I'm just talking about right here at that 150 area. So the second it got up there, there was a market back down. It was maybe a couple of cents above. If you're really quick and you pay for locates, maybe you could have scalp shorted it, but you know, whatever. I'm not going to do it, and I'm not going to pay for the locates that late in the day. I want to be getting out of positions and looking for an imbalance type trade going into the end. The other thing, the only point I would add to the discussion is, over the course of time, for my trading, at least for the last, I'd say it's not something that I discovered early on. It was probably something I discovered somewhere somewhere after the first 5 years. I've been doing this long enough. And that was, look at each trade based on that particular trade. So if I'm up or down on Marvell, which I know I'm going to trade, I knew I was going to be more active in Marvell this morning, or like an Intel, let's just say. I've got to be able to grade that against itself. Meaning, Like in this case, didn't have any winners on Marvell, so it's not easy to tell. But on something like an Intel, I always sort of look at it from this standpoint. Like I've been in a lot of Intel trades today, and the question becomes, on any individual Intel trade that won, lost, win, lose, or draw, would the risk reward in that trade make sense? And that's the way I have to look at it. Like when I get out of the trade here and I'm getting back in at 21 and risking to the high, okay, did I make enough back relative to what I was losing on that trade? Answer yes, good trade. At the end of the day, I didn't get green on Intel, and I think it's obvious why I didn't get green on Intel. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with this trade here. And that's the one I got to talk about, because when I took this short, it was a horrible, horrible entry. Why? Because I got it all in on the way up, putting my stop underneath the prior high, right? So basically what I did was, because I got all in here, knowing the stop should have been, in and around there, I did respect it. It's just a bad entry. You don't want to be all in going on the back side of the trade, or the front side of the trade, I should say, and giving it that kind of room. If you're going to do that, then I should be tight to the stop, and therefore when I lose there, I'm losing a heck of a lot less. So that's just my style of trading. And again, at the end of the day, I wasn't really holding that much at that absolute high when we got wicked out. But if there's anything else watching that you guys are watching in here, let me know. I know PSTV is on a lot of people's minds, but I kind of feel like that's not a great buying opportunity. Where are we at? I'm not going to take a shot at Palantir again, because I feel like when you get a big level bounce, like an SSR bounce off an 80 level, when it already goes once, I don't want to try it at 847 when any random imbalance in the next 3 minutes can either just pop it $1.50 or can run everybody's stops at the low if it happens to be a sell imbalance. That's a big issue. I thought Nvidia was going to be a little bit more interesting. It just never worked its way back up into that 112 level close into VWAP here. Like it got there once right after we finished talking to Andrew, and then it had already pulled back, and we just didn't get another shot here. Ooh, good pull. I guess that Fabian put this poll up. Thank you, Fabian. Which hurts worse? Missed a trade, got out too soon. I'll say it this way, but it's only missed a trade if it was and I'm saying it because it has to be a trade that I was supposed to take. If it's a trade that was, I'm watching that stock, I like that level, it gave me my setup, and I missed a trade, nothing hurts worse than that. But if it's a stock, if I miss a trade on a stock that was never a part of my plan, that I was never watching, it's like, yeah, if I was watching it, I might have had it. But I can't get mad at that. Well, who cares? Yeah, it has to be a trade if it's a trade that I was going to take, that I liked a lot, and I missed it. And that's why I'm looking at Nvidia right now, because that fit the bill. That's why Nvidia hurt. If I get out too soon, that's a more easily correctable mistake than getting away from something that was part of your plan. Like that's a much bigger issue to me than getting out too soon on something, because you're not even in the right place in the first place. The first job of the trader is to be in the right spot, and then don't worry about the rest after that. So yeah, missing a trade that I'm supposed to be on for sure, no questions asked. There, Unique Trading Group, you got in at 35 on PSTV. Yeah, good on you. PST 35 cents. Oh, yesterday. Okay. Or maybe in the pre-market. I don't have, maybe that's early in the pre-market. I don't have any data that would give that price unless it was yesterday. But good look. I mean, if you were in at yesterday's close price, obviously that's really good. Damn.
Yeah. So things are working, man. I mean, AMD is $2 in the money. Baba's $1.50 in the money. Intel's 30 cents in the money. Palantir's now came all the way back, but it's only 20 cents in the money. I'm just going to take some piece out here at 61. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day. Right now, so the trades here so far this afternoon, Palantir long, bang. Intel, hold the short, bang, right there. Baba, and then Alibaba. This is the one. This is the one. All right, guys. Let's just have a quick look here because Joe, everything all right? Bro, things are popping over here, my guy. Me and Joe tonight. Neil on vacation next week. Enjoy the nice weather of Florida. All right, so HPE, Don Eden, yeah. Say what's up to Don for me. 7.9%, 13% for serve. IoT, man. We actually had Rader Trader on. One of his plays was IoT. This was a couple quarters ago. I didn't realize it was up today. He might have had a thought on that one. Samsara, Broadcom, thanks to Dara for all this. Costco, Big Bear AI. It's going to be a fun one, man. Really fun one. Gap 11%
bounces up
there as well. So, you know, we're playing chess here, not checkers. And this is why we're doing stuff like this, right? Like we talked about Alibaba down there at 138. If we just continue to play chess and stick with our rules, then we're going to continue to do exactly what we want to do here. And that is to prove to everybody. Okay, first of all, the imbalances are now out. So here we go. Let's just have a quick look. We need to start getting out. I mean, we've already talked about this. We have 7% of Palantir left. We have less than 10% of Alibaba, but for some reason we got a part fill, so I'll have to figure that out. PCG open. There's Nvidia with a buy, so that's starting to go. Neil, take it over because honestly, I have 4 positions.
Yeah,
so.
look, Nvidia is the big one at 1.2, and that's pretty much it. PCG actually came out smaller than expected, so always a nothing burger. I keep the early look up because of that. If a big one comes out significantly smaller, I'm not that interested, and they paired off a bunch of it. Opens a $1 stock, it's $1 million, so 1.9 million into a $1.18 stock is not significant. It's KO with a 1.8 million buy imbalance is the only thing that's even a little bit out of pocket there. So what did it do? It was already running. This would be this is, we talk about stocks on the imbalance locator flipping at possibly 355. We just mean they update it constantly as people take the other side of the imbalance. Often at 355, you have a big major pairing event. When a stock is running like this into resistance and it's a buy imbalance, the first thing I look for is that fade trade at 355. So if KO is still sitting right up here at the highs and we get to like 354 change or something like that, not just today's highs, yesterday's highs as well are up there, then I'd look for a reversion. So in the next 2 minutes, I'm kind of hoping that you get the push, maybe another 20, 30 cents higher, or at least stay up at the top and then try to get in. If it flips or pairs off, and it doesn't have to flip, it could just go from 1.8 million to like a few 100,000. That's usually enough to get it to the downside. So that's a trade that it's better on a big stock like an Nvidia or an Amazon or an Apple, but it still can be one that works on something like this here. So we'd like to be able to catch it if we can, but I have to wait at least a minute or two till we're closer to 355 because that's the opportunity for that flip trade in about 2.5 minutes here.
Yeah, all right. Good day there. Just finishing it off right now. So we got out of Intel. We just covered right there at this level. We actually got overfilled a little bit and we punched out, so that's why there's that red tick there. But there's the cover for us on Intel. I just covered it all on Palantir. No point in letting this thing drop through. We covered it for flat. We got a piece that we had 7% left. Palantir, again, positive name. We actually now will only have 2 red names today, Intel and Apple. End. So 4 and 2 right there today. So nice play as Palantir right now is going to break through 80. So definitely took advantage of that one coming through there today. Look, man, we celebrate our successes, and right now she just left, but leading the way today. Today will come in second, but we'll give the trophy to Adara today. So we'll say a big congratulations for Adara. I'm not going to talk about other people. Joe can tell you his kind of a day. Sharif is not here. Neil's right here. Alibaba, $1.25 in the money. We just cashed some out near that top. We'll figure that out. We're going to just punch them all out right there. We're gone. Bye-bye, Alibaba. We just punch out of that one. AMD, I still have a little piece left. I was kind of doing that thing like we talked about, waiting for, or Neil just explained there, trying to get that 98.80 level. We just got a piece out. What I was talking about, what we were explaining was the fact that these imbalances are going to flip at 55. And, Alibaba's a sell. It could flip back into a long and absolutely rip up. So if you guys are still in Alibaba, fine. But for me, for right now, I'm out of it. We just got out at 46 there. I don't know if that was the right decision or not. It looks like it might have been the right decision on Palantir. Neil, it just bounced off $80, so we'll definitely mark that on your iPad for tomorrow again. But I think tomorrow $80 is not going to be here.
It's highly doubtful.
We'll probably have another negative day.
Or it'll gap up away from it.
I just don't like. Yeah, I think
it'll.
Look, man. I mean, I think Palantir today. We had the short at $88. So, I mean, gapping up and down, like, I have no idea where this thing's going to open. The fact of the matter is we were short here at the high of the day and long at the low of the day. Like, to me, that's all that matters. We nailed it both times. But as Andrew said, you know, when he was on here, which is why I was telling you I'm respecting this kid, is that it doesn't really matter. Timing is what's important, right? We have net short. The idea is net short. But you have the stop in there, and you get stopped out. So that's the point. You get stopped out, you're out of that trade. We just said that Alibaba did have that chance to get going to the upside, and it just looked at 140 again. So at 355, some of those levels have switched over just a bit. Coke is still there as a buy. You asked Andrew about.
I just got in and out. I did take Coke and got in and out flat. And you're like, well, why would you go in and out flat if it didn't break the high and is kind of going down? Well, because it was still a buy imbalance. I gave it a chance to update because I wanted to see 1.8 go to anything smaller, but it didn't. So I'm not going against the imbalance in the last 4 minutes. So it just came in and out flat. I did punch into the position, so I'll pay fees on it. So you'd be down fees in a situation like that. I think I was able to at least get rebates out. So yeah, you pay like a I don't know, like a third when you punch. You know, like 3 cents or $3 per thousand shares or whatever. And when you add, you pay 2, so you lose a tenth pretty much every single time when you do it that way. But that's the rule. If I'm taking that trade, it's because I'm expecting Coke is gonna go from 1.8 million buy to a sell imbalance at 355. When that doesn't happen, win, lose, or draw, to me, it's a gimmick trade, and a gimmick trade is a binary thing. And you're gonna be like, yeah, well, it could have worked. Yeah, but then it only works if I break the rule. And I've found over the years of trading, if I have to break a rule in a winning trade, all it's going to do is lead me or give me reasons to break it and break that rule in the future. Which we had a trader one time. There's like, regardless of how big the imbalance is, there's a phenomenon where you might have a stock that's going from like the S&P, like I don't know, like one of the smaller indices to the big ones, be like the Russell to the 5,000 and 2,000, those types of things. And if one is a buy in one and a sell in the other, it's a stay away unless it's really late. Don't take the trade because it tends to flip around a little bit because you're selling in one index and you're buying in another. And we had a trader load into it because they liked the size of the imbalance. It predictively flipped late, and it was like that trader's entire quarter because they broke a rule. And there was another trader who did that same thing and had the biggest trade anyone on the floor had for like a good half-year period. But after it happened, I told them that story, and they went white in the face because they realized what would have happened had it flipped on them. It didn't, but they realized what would have happened. So I think a lot of times, and of course, Coke is going to go to the downside. I just wanted to explain, hey, Neil, why'd you get out of this trade if it didn't break the prior high and is now working? And it's because the stock didn't flip on the imbalance locator, and that's what I was looking for. So you have to be able to follow your rules. David, thank you for the super chat there. No. There is not a 25% tariff on that donation. Unfortunately, there's a 30% YouTube takes it, but it's not a tariff.
Tax.
It's a tax. YouTube's got to YouTube's got to get paid. I'm not a hater. We own Google stock, so I can't hate on that whatsoever. I think YouTube is absolutely fantastic. Heck, they're about to get me to pay for YouTube. I'm considered paying for YouTube Premium because I tend to pay for all of those. They're good at getting. They're really. I like buying stock in companies that are good at getting your money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's.
I mean, yeah, my daughter.
It's an oversimplification, but.
I know. My daughter wanted to watch Toddlers and Tiaras, so I bought Discovery, and then it was $6.99 or something with commercials. I was watching it with her. I'm like, I'm not. And then I just went on and just paid $10.99 or $9.99 and got it without the commercials, so she could watch Toddlers and Tiaras. Like. Oh, my God. Okay, less than a minute left. Big Joe's ready to go. He's over there at the big desk, so that should be fun. I'll head over there in just a minute. As the NASDAQ, look, man, it's not pretty. It is closing at the lows. So, Ramin, Fabian, ring the bell. Yeah, Fabian gonna do it, man. Fabian gonna do it, man. The man with the hair, the man with the plan. It is the Chilean nightmare himself. It will be Fabian ringing your bell here tonight.
Always cancel your orders, guys.
Yeah, cancel. I'm going to cancel. I have a script order still there on that. All right. Again, thank you everybody for joining us here today. We've had a great time. We wish Neil. Well, you're here tomorrow. Oh, we still got to we got to do those.
Your SSR, baby.
We got to do those.
We're supposed to get shawarma tomorrow. Oh,
yeah, or Cabanos.
No, you're right. The burgers. We're gonna get the burgers.
We're gonna figure that out because today's salmon was about as dry as like.
It was terrible. Oh, brought to you by Foremost Clean Energy is your bell, and there is Fabian to ring it right now.
Dun, 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 dun,
yeah, the salmon was very dry, but they had like this lentil thing that was next to it that I thought was kind of delicious. But the salmon was a bit of a fail.
Yeah, the salmon was a fail, but tomorrow we will get that all figured out.
You make a salmon steak. You have to. It's tricky because it's really easy to overcook. But when you do it right, it's absolutely perfect.
Yeah. So the problem with the cannolis, you know what? I'll just have to make the order tonight.
No, we can do it. We can do it another time. Because Randy's not here on Fridays.
Oh man.
No, we can do the ricotta. No, easy.
I'm gonna message you.
We can do it. We can do the cannolis anytime. Like we're here every day. The market is open. So
I have to do the recap.
We're not going anywhere.
Okay, all right.
Good one today. There's a lot happening after market tonight. Remember, you've got Broadcom, you've got Costco is going to be ringing it. Big Bear AI is going to be a big deal. We've got the Gap also, and it's going to be Joe. It's going to be Sean as well. Big shout out, obviously, to Fabian and Ramin on the ones and twos. We were here a little bit earlier doing some work, and everyone made it through the day. We've got to thank the boys on the midday, doing a great, fantastic job. Shout out to Obi, chilling in the cut back there, always willing to talk some trading, and a big shout out, of course, to all of you, our viewers. But look, you got to buckle up. Aftermarket was wild yesterday, and not in a good way because of Marvell. Everybody here should be interested in Broadcom because they're a major part of the indexes, which got rugged today. So a lot is at stake. Broadcom's already down 6 points, but you're going to see everything live. Not just what the numbers are, but what the actual reaction is. And you're going to see it at the desk with Sean, with our good friend Joey Options, and of course, all of you, our viewers. So go get them.
Yes, sir. What's going on? This is my guy right here, man.
The team is back.
We're here right now. We're right here right now. All right, we're excited, man. We've got Big Joe on the desk here tonight. We're getting ready for earnings. We've got Big Bear AI. We're ready to rock and roll. We've got everything going right now. This is what we're looking for. These are the earnings plays.
Let's go.
HPE today, Serve, IoT, Broadcom, Costco, Big Bear AI, and Gap. You own any of those names?
I own none of them, my guy.
Good for you, man. I think that's a good success story right there. We'll get going on that, and we'll see what's reporting. Look, we're really excited. Despite being a disaster day today, real estate down 3%, uranium down 2%, XLF that everyone's been loving down 1.6%, XLK, which is the NASDAQ, down 3%, XLY, some of the consumer discretionaries, downside today as well. There's XLC right there. But you know what was up?
FXI.
FXI. So get ready for some Alibaba.
That's what we were doing. We were trading JD this morning. They reported earnings, guys. Fantastic trade in the earlier hours. It did fade off, but that's all right. We still believe in this China trade here, guys.
Yes, sir. People happy that Joe is here. So am I. We're getting ready for Big Bear AI. So right now, look, man, we're long just for fun on this thing. Couple hundred shares. We'll find out what happens. Maybe something like that. We'll wait to see what happens with Big Bear AI. I'm in at $5. Okay. We'll wait to see what that. If we get a 16% move, which we're expecting, should put us back up here, 470, 480. We'll see if that can come through right now. Big Bear, we wait for you. We do have the Benzinga Pro platform up, so I want to say thank you to everybody that's joining us. Joe's going to be scanning Twitter, everything. We got a couple other sources as well. And if anything hits on these, then we'll get you those earnings ASAP. There we go. As soon as possible. All right. There we go. All right. Bitcoin today, Joe. Not too bad. Not too bad.
We'll take it.
We'll take it. I mean, I think on a day like today, we'll take that, right? There it is. Bitcoin now 89.1. Holding out okay. It's hard to look at this day over day because it doesn't stop. So it's hard to say Bitcoin was up 3 or 4% today. But still, there's that $90,000 mark right there. We've dropped off of that. Remember, this is a 15-minute chart, so this is basically the whole day. Bitcoin right now trying to find a bottom, Joe, at at 88,000.
Yep.
Tomorrow's the big time.
Big time.
Tomorrow we wait for that crypto summit. We'll figure out what's going on with that, and we'll see if Bitcoin can rally a little bit. We're also keeping our eye on Ripple. We're keeping our eye on Cardano. We're keeping our eye on Solana, because honestly, those names I think took many of us by surprise, and we did not expect anything from those names to be listed in the tweet.
No, well, I agree with you on that front, Sean. But really, I know a lot of people are worried about, hey, why isn't it just Bitcoin in this reserve? Well, it still doesn't affect Bitcoin, essentially. It's going to be in the reserve, and you know Donald's going to prioritize it. So that's what we're going to be, our main focus is going to be on Bitcoin. And one thing I wanted to mention as well, too, is that we have that Ether ETF.
Right.
And Sharif asked me a good question this morning. He said, hey, Joe, do you think this is going to be anything else? You're going to see more of these coins come out and more ETFs related to them, right? I don't think so, because Ether is not that popular of a traded ETF, right? Bitcoin is more popular than Ether, so I don't see maybe amongst retail investor traders that much of an interest in some other ETFs other than Bitcoin and Ether.
Everybody that I do talk to is Bitcoin focused. Everyone wants Bitcoin, or they want some of these meme coins.
Agreed.
I mean, I like Ethereum. I think there's a way for that. The problem is, you know, those smart contracts are expensive. We talked about this with Obi, and like I remember when I used to trade and send Ether back and forth, the gas on that is pretty expensive.
Yeah, like you're spending a lot.
Like if I send one to you, maybe that's $10 or something. It's not that expensive, but it's a little bit more.
Exactly, it adds up. And to be honest with you, we got anything out here, guys? No.
I don't see anything yet. People are in the chat. If you guys are here, I also have the chat open. So if anything pops in there and you know we see it, we'll try to get to it ASAP. Big Bear's starting to inch up a little bit right here. We don't have this earnings report out until 4:15 is what we've been written down here. So again, we're just going by what we've had right here coming through today. So 4:05 is HPE. So we'll wait to see what's going on there. We saw Dell come out the other day. Samsara and Serve coming out at 4:10. Then 4:15 is when we all get going. So HPE just came out. It's 4:05. So let's have a quick little check on Hewlett Packard Enterprise. All right, expect to move over here 8%. It looks like we are getting a nice little downside move here for HPE. Oh no. Let's have a look at what it looks like on the daily chart, because Neil and I talk about this all the time. We all do on this show, and that is when in doubt, zoom out a little bit. Yeah, and if you zoom out on HPE, you're not going to like it any better. You're right back into here, into September lows again. Obviously, we've covered up the election bottom. That little bottom of $15 for HPE, Hewlett Packard Enterprises. We're going to figure out what those numbers are.
We got those numbers here now, Sean. So
go ahead,
reported quarterly earnings of 49 cents per share, which met the analyst consensus estimates. This is a 2.8% increase year over year, guys. So 48 cents per share from the same period last year. The company reported quarterly sales of $7.85 billion, which beat the analyst consensus estimates of 7.82 by 0.5% there, guys. So this is a 16.25% increase over sales, 6.75 billion the same period last year. So that's HPE, guys. Headed to the downside. We want to see what this guidance is going to look like. It must not be good, Sean, here, because we're moving to the south side.
Right, so again, expected there. We had an EPS estimate of 50 cents with revenues of 7.81 billion, and we just got that number out at 49 cents. So they'll miss against 50. Sales a little bit higher, as we just expected, but EPS either in line or a slight miss. We will, of course, get that guide, but it must be lower as we are starting to get to the downside right now. Yeah, look, for people asking me about Big Bear AI, I just thought this was a baby Palantir. I mean, if you, it's not in the same way, but here's Big Bear AI, right? So why does that say MongoDB down here? Anyways, this is an AI name. They have to deal with, well, they just got a Department of Defense a couple weeks back here. They're not making money. They're early days. I like the short vote of 21%. It's only down 5% since January 1st. That's not so bad. Market cap of just $1 billion. Does have room to run. But I say just $1 billion. They do have a negative earnings per share. So again, a company not making money. It's early days for Big Bear AI. So let's just see what winds up happening. I mean, to get involved at this name at the 50 period at $5, I think it's well worth it. We've seen Palantir, and again, and not to compare the two names, but again, both AI data-driven names looking for solutions both on the commercial side and on the consumer side, trying to get involved. Big Bear AI also involved with airport security as well. But if you're going to look at Palantir and even just go back, into a weekly chart, if we're going to talk about about something like this. You know, I was involved here right on the ICO, direct listing. So there it is. That goes all the way up here during meme crazy and COVID times, all the way to $37. And then Joe drops to $6.
$6.
So it's like Palantir went from 40 back down to 6 up to 115. Right, 140 was the high there for or
126. Yeah, 126.
I think it was higher intraday. I'm not sure about that, but anyways, there it goes. That's Palantir on the weekly. So that's part of the play that I'm thinking about. And again, Big Bear AI, I'm going to hold it regardless of what happens here today for that report. But man, oh man, was it not the greatest day for Palantir there today. As let's just go over a 3-minute chart. Look, man, we were short up here. It's crazy that we let it go, but we let it go. What can we do about it? We talk about that all the time, but we came back with a vengeance. Then we went long at 80 end of day. Now you're at 81 and change. All right, I'm looking back over here, Hewlett-Packard again. Well, there it is. The Q2 guidance is below estimates. So that just came in again right now. So there we go, down into $15. We talked about a weekly chart for Hewlett-Packard. Let's just, this is just a daily chart. We don't even have to go back that far. It looks like you're going to get support around 15. There's the tick right now, 1570. So you got to go back to March lows where you tick down to 1450. I think this is a buy for HP. Again, inline earnings per share, 49 versus 50. We'll give them a break on that one. And a beat on revenue, just the guide. Nothing wrong with sandbagging a guide. I'm not even sure a lot of these companies should be guiding right now anyways, because how hard is it to guide now? You don't know about the tariffs. You don't know, like, you know, can your racks, can your servers, HP Enterprises, right? Can they be sold in China? Will there be a tariff there? Right. Will people choose Xiaomi? Like, what's going to happen? I just think it's, I don't know if it's responsible or not. I just say watch out for some of these guys, because I know that if I was a CEO, CFO, it'd be tough right now. The environment is very, very foggy.
It is extremely foggy, Sean, and you're right on that front. We don't know how this is going to affect margins, right? We don't know how this is going to work domestically, so we need to be patient. These lower guides, maybe they're playing a little bit softly or just being careful in that instance. But again, just be careful on these guides. They're going to be really important when we are at the tail end of earnings. So just be patient and let these stocks play out, and then eventually you'll be able to find an entry within these names here, guys.
All right, just real quick, man. Everyone's talking about LUNR. So there today, yeah, man, big time movement. And again, look at this downside play here in the after hours. So I'll check Benzinga for you guys. I mean, I know a lot of people might be holding this overnight thinking that they could have got a rally back. There it is. Let's just figure this out. Intuitive machine stock falls after uncertain. So this is, oh yeah, that's right. That's the moon landing where they had the loss of signal. So yeah, we did see that. That kind of sucks, but that news is from 223 right now. So I'm not seeing anything else on Benzinga here that might relate to that, but at the end of there it is. Sam Sarah's out, my guy. We must have missed that. IoT. So let's go back over here. Check it out. If you can find those, Joe, great. There's IoT right now. This is a 3-minute chart. I'm just going to change this over to a 1-minute. I could probably call it up on here as well. IoT, just to see if we do get it. Yeah, so it's just here. I do have the results. We'll wait for that from Joe. But here,
we got those here.
Okay, so I'm just seeing, Q4 revenue of $346 million, 25% increase, 30% growth year over year. Give us the EPS. You got that?
Yeah, we got the EPS here. Actually, not quite yet. We're going to continue to look for them here.
No problem.
It
was out. We'll give Joe a second. Joe, take your time, man.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll look for that. Let's just talk about some of the names today individually before we get Costco. We're waiting for Costco right now. We're waiting for Broadcom. Broadcom's going to hold the key to a lot of these names. So let's see if it can get unlocked today.
All right, we're ready to rock and roll.
Let's just hope that Broadcom reports better and guides a little bit better, because, like, what's that going to mean for Nvidia today? Oh, I noticed this. Normally, I think the camera is a little bit low. Okay, no, we're fine. All right, we saw today Nvidia down 6%, Joe. Not great there for Nvidia. Broadcom down 6% today as well. Many of the electronic technology, as we have it here, down today. Not too many bright names in the spot. We do have Honeywell, though, today apparently upside. Meta down. Look at Netflix. You want to talk about buying the dream. Why is this down 8.5%? Why is Netflix down 8.5%, Joe? We always talk about, like, buying stock subscription service. I like subscription service business, and I don't know, man. This did I miss a story here? Netflix down pretty good today, down to 900. This was some of our
that gap there on the daily
filling this gap back into 800. Would you buy Netflix stock on dip? Or
absolutely.
Yeah, okay,
well, think about it, Sean. We had a double in subs year over year. the previous quarter,
good call.
right? Now we've added WWE and more live sports
like
streaming,
that.
right? And they're also increasing the subscription cost as well too. So we love Netflix, right? We like this. I think it's a buy at any given. If you can get in on the dip, then look to grab some. A split would be nice, but we might not get that right now.
Yeah,
so.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, a split is just going to be something that eventually.
We got those Samsara EPS here, guys. Reported quarterly earnings of 11 cents per share, which beat the analyst consensus estimates of 7 cents there, guys. 57.1%. This is a 175% increase over earnings of 0.04 cents, 4 cents per share from the same period last year. The company reported quarterly sales of $346 million, which beat the analyst consensus estimates of $335 million by 3.26%. This is a 25.3% increase of sales of $276 million the same period last year, guys.
All right, awesome. I mean, what a move for Samsara. I didn't even realize this, man. Internet of Things, huge move up to $60.
Yep.
Wow, talk about a name getting absolutely this makes me. Neil turned over to me and he asked me today, should he buy Palantir? I said no. Let it settle down. I mean, right here, if you were buying Samsara at $42 off of a $62 high,
I think we got Costco out too, my guy.
Smoked right now. Costco's not going to be too exciting, but let's just wait to see what's happening. What's happening with Costco? Someone fat fingered this. Let's hope it was down to $1,000 right there. But again, down a little bit, not too much. We'll get those numbers in a minute. Big Bear AI has just come in. Broadcom, people yelling about Broadcom, my guy. Is Broadcom out? Oh yeah. Broadcom's starting to go back up to the upside right here, Joe. So let's see what that number is. We were looking for right here on Broadcom. We were looking for revenues of 14.6 with an EPS of 150. So we'll get that in just 1 second as, again, Joe doing great job there, Joe.
Perfect.
All right, there it is.
Go.
We got the EPS of 160. Beat you to it, Joe. So that's a beat on the top line. 160 versus 149. Sales coming in at 14.91. Smoking 14.61. Broadcom, nice move up, but don't keep talking about it because it's coming back down. So we're going to have to figure out what's going on there. But Broadcom right now, here he comes to save the day.
There he comes.
It's Mighty Mouse. And we might not be here to stay. You don't know nothing about Mighty Mouse. You're probably
no, I know the UFC fighter Mighty Mouse.
Okay.
Yeah, Demetrius
Oh,
Johnson.
the fighter. What's
Demetrius Johnson.
Right, okay, I knew that. I knew there was a fighter. There used to be a cartoon character
named Mighty Mouse. Yeah, so that's what he is, because he was a little itty bitty guy here.
Okay,
But Sean, we got some Costco numbers here for us, my guy. Let me pull those up here.
All right.
Let's see, I had those here. Where did they go? And net sales for a quarter increased 9.1% to $62.5 billion.
That's it?
From $57.3 billion last year. Net sales for the first 24 weeks increased 8.3% to $123 billion from $114 billion last year. Comparable sales for the second quarter and first 24 weeks of fiscal 25 were as follows, guys. So a net income of $1.78 million, $4 per diluted share compared to $1,743,000 and $3.92 per diluted share last year.
Thank you so much, Joe, for all of that. I mean, look, man, Costco about as chilled out of a stock as you can think of, man. I mean, we're nowhere near the 50 period. It just moves down 2% on earnings. Again, we had the implied move there for Costco to be 4%. So looks like it'll be a little underwhelming on that report. But Broadcom, that is definitely, changing the mood around here a little bit. Broadcom bounces completely today off of that 200 period moving average, and we now start to tick higher into 192. Look, this was Broadcom's last earnings. Whoop! All the way up there to 250. Broadcom smokes it upside last earnings report. Let's see if we can carry the day. Is it doing anything to Nvidia, though? And again, they guide forward. Broadcom guided forward, yes, giving us the kick for Nvidia a little bit. Nvidia now up that $1 and change. AMD feeling ways as well. AMD up 50 cents. Where's Big Bear? Where's Big Bear? I don't like it when they don't come out on time, Big Bear. We need this stock to get out there. We'll figure out what it's going to do. I still don't see earnings on this name. Please, everybody in the chat, if you do see it, let me know. I'm running through. I just have the Benzinga Pro platform here, so I don't see anything happening for
continuing
Big
to
Bear
climb higher here.
AI. All right, yeah, continue to climb higher is HPE is a downside play. Let's just double check that real quick. HPE, JPE, HPE. We're doing it all live. Most shows will have a producer that will throw up charts, all this.
prompters.
We don't need no producer,
We
Joe.
don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need
no
any of that.
teleprompters.
No. All we need is Benzinga Pro and a chart.
We had grade 8 Jackson. Yo, what's up?
Oh.
There we go. This is our producer right here, man. This guy's killing this on the ones and twos. Shout out to our guy. Not only does Fabian ring the bell like a professional, but now he's switching these cameras, making us look good.
He's doing his job. There's a hard thing.
But not for you, my guy.
You know what I mean? So it's not for you. I was going to say not for you. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that.
Especially with the fresh haircut and everything along those lines. Yeah, so.
Okay. All right. At the end of the day, we're going to have a little bit of a love fest here. We're waiting for Big Bear AI to come through. But like I said, no teleprompters here. We're doing it live. HPE, man, making lower lows right now, Joe. They beat on, or actually there was in line, beat on sales, guide lower. Broadcom goes 3 for 3 though. Broadcom runs the gauntlet. They beat on earnings per share, 160 versus 149. They beat on expected revenues, and they guide forward. It's Broadcom. It's taking out highs right now of 193. All right, Big Bear.
Let's go. We're waiting for Big Bear.
Where's Big Bear AI?
But with Costco, we had the beat on revenue, but the miss on EPS. Not a good look here for Costco, guys. So that paid membership, not really coming into play here, my guy. So.
All right. Well, you know what? I mean, they're still getting my money. The thing is, we actually spend enough money that it's about flat.
Okay.
So you get 2% back if you get like the executive.
Ooh.
So, and I think it's about $120
a year.
So I think, so if you spend like about $1,000, almost $2,000, you get it all back.
That's okay.
So something like that. It's not that.
I mean, well, $2,000, that's not much at the grocery store,
not
right?
A single guy, but without kids.
Yeah.
Like, what's that? Bring that over here, Mike.
Bring it here. You got the premium Costco card.
Oh, you can't take it.
Ramin told us.
We won't show the number, but
there we go. We won't show the number.
Hey, this
there
is
you
the
go.
black card, man.
The black card.
This is the American Express Black. There it is. Oh, it's the Costco card.
go.
There's the executive membership. So thank you so much
for
that, Fabian. We like that. I just think that if you're going to do that, especially if you're going to have a big purchase, like if you're planning on buying like that.
Things in bulk.
The refrigerator or whatever, appliances. Yeah, good call there. Worth it, man. Maybe
I'm pretty sure they have a good return policy as well, too. If you own it forever, you can return it whenever you want.
So what I do is I get like that 100-inch TV before
there you go.
Super Bowl,
and then just return it right after. Yeah. That's what you got to do.
I've never
man,
done
you get the sofa couch, you get whatever you want, use it for a year.
Okay. All right, let's go. That's Costco. We're still waiting for Big Bear. Not out yet. Wondering what's going on with that. So we'll have to wait for that. Really, really happy to have Joe here. All right, what's been happening today, though? We saw the spiders, right? I mean, let's go over to a 3-minute chart just real quickly here. Today's action, of course, led by tariff talk. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ both gapped down pretty much all day with them closing near the lows. Although the S&P 500 got a little bit of a bump up and is getting bumped up right now in the after hours with some of these calls by Broadcom. So that's going to be a little tricky there. Donald Trump, Claudia Sheinbaum announced that Mexico would not be subject to tariffs on goods that are covered by the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement, so the USMCA, a past trade agreement. So they're working their way through all of this. So some of the tariffs coming off a little bit. But we did have a bad day for Marvell, which again, another chip name. We've talked about that today. That was down 18% off earnings yesterday, so that wasn't good. And then off the back of that, we had Nvidia down another 5%, 6% at its lows today for Nvidia, bouncing off that 110, which is a very interesting level. Again, catching some Broadcom love now.
Guess what I got here, my guy?
I know, BBAI.
BBAI, all right.
It's not great.
There's
BBAI. Great. We're going to go to a 1-minute chart here to figure this out. Now, remember, yesterday, we did see Rigetti was not good, right? Yesterday. So if you're going to look at a Rigetti trade, and he's going to get those in just a second, there was Rigetti yesterday, downside move, right? There's the earnings report, all the way down to $7. Popped to $9 on what was not a great report. So right here on that note, guys, let's go over Big Bear AI. I don't know the numbers, but the market does, and we're heading lower for Big Bear.
Yep. For a Q4, guys, 24 revenue up 43.8 million. So that is a 8% increase year over year to Q4 of 23 when we got 40.6 million there. We exchanged 182 million in 6% convertible senior note due in 2026 there, Sean, for 6% convertible senior secured note due in 2029. 58 million has already converted into equity since the end of Q4 24, resulting in 142 million remaining debt convertible notes, cash balance of 50.1 million there, my guy.
The little NSYNC. Bye.
Yeah, not looking too good.
Deadpool or something. I just watched Deadpool. Yeah, exactly.
Did you watch it?
You like Deadpool? Versus
Yeah, I loved it. I liked the new one. Yeah,
I thought too much swearing.
It's all right.
You know, I'm old. Down goes Fraser.
I don't like the new Hulk though. I don't know what's up with the the new Captain America.
Captain America.
Yeah, but why? Why did they got
like,
Harrison Ford in there?
He's been in there for a minute. He's
the Red Hulk, I think. Yeah. It's time to retire, my guy. You know exactly. He's time to yeah, he's in there.
I don't know enough about it.
So yeah, I think it's time.
I watched that movie. I like Red Hulk, man.
Yeah, you like
we were Red Hulk.
Okay. Ooh. But you were green.
I don't want to
you were
green. I don't need this shirt.
No, you were green. You were green.
Oh, we were green. Yeah, we were green at the end of the. You were green too, my guy.
I was green Hulk too. You know what I mean?
We're both green Hulks. I don't ever want to be a red Hulk. But Big Bear AI going to the downside. So those of you that are interested in Big Bear AI, yeah, we just dropped those numbers for you. I'm going to click on it myself right now. We could probably go over this, but there it is. Big Bear AI coming through here on Business Newswire. Again, revenue of 43.8 million, beating the 40.6 from last year, plus 8% year over year. We did drop some of those numbers. Everything's green in here, but again, the financial highlights must not be great. So we'll get a little bit of a breakdown for Big Bear AI, down 15% today, looking like it wants to get lower. But remember, we do have a short float on this name, right? The short float for Big Bear AI, 22%. So as we continue to get a little bit lower, wow, 350 now coming in for Big Bear AI. All right, I don't just want to talk about this name because it's getting killed. Down 27% now. I guess we got to average in. All right,
DCA.
Broadcom, though. Look, man, the amount of money that we have in Nvidia and all these other names. I mean, that Big Bear AI. We'll roll with it. I actually think we have about 500 shares, so not a great trade there. But we'll get back into that one as well. We're still in it. Broadcom, though, we saw the move off last earnings. Now you're getting the bump up again. This name should work out, right? I mean, here we go. Finally, a name in the space that we can hold, our cards to tomorrow. We're only going to be up 2%, but that's including today's move, which was a bad one. There goes Broadcom. But let's not get too excited, Joe, because again, if we go back over to a 30.
Does this put them back in the trillion club? Is the real question here?
Where's
Sean?
the market cap? Yes.
All right, so we're back in.
So if we just get a 10% move, we should be near there. So we could do the math. I don't think that's calculated real time. It's close. But at the end of the day, what I was going to get at, though, even though this is a big move back, like we're just back to where we were last week. So we had a little bit of a destruction here in some of these plays, but just back to where we were last week for Broadcom. So again, a good name, right? Diversify your portfolio, get into some new chip names. Broadcom might be the one for you. All right, man. Gap.
Tough miss
Gap.
by BBA.
We did not. I don't want to talk about Big Bear AI. Bring up Big Bear AI one more time, Joe, and I swear, you can always come back. Maybe. All right, so we didn't cover Gap. So what we were looking for Gap here on that, Joe, if you can find those numbers. Right now, revenue at 415, we were expecting 4.06 billion on the revenue side, and we were expecting an EPS of 36 cents. So 4.06 billion, EPS of 36 cents. Any chance you're able to dig those up?
We got those up. Reported quarterly earnings of 54 cents per share, which beat the analyst consensus estimate of 37 cents per share by 45.9%. The company reported quarterly sales of 4.1 billion, which beat the analyst consensus estimates of 4 billion and by just about 2/3% there, Sean Jones called you Sharif. There is a 4.61% decrease over sales, 4.3 billion the same period last year. So a nice beat here, a double beat here by Gap.
All right, yeah, man. And it's kind of gapping up. Not really. No, it's kind of weak.
Wow.
It's not.
No, it was a good one, man.
It was okay. Because here's the gap right there.
It was a good one.
Fabian.
It was a good one.
You're my favorite, So don't tell that to. Don't tell that to Ramin. Yo, I heard.
What'd you hear?
That the Kit Kat went missing.
No.
Isn't that what I heard the other day?
No, I took one piece. It wasn't me fully. I took one piece.
One piece. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's still. I don't know.
Yeah. You know the One Piece guy, right?
One Piece.
Yeah, One Piece.
I watched it on Netflix.
The live action one.
Yeah. The live action.
Yeah, that's all I had was one Piece.
That's one of my kids' favorite anime.
Yeah, I like that. I forget. I can't remember his real name.
You know what we're watching right now on Netflix? It's actually Sakamoto Days.
Okay, no, I never watched that one. Is that anime stuff there?
Anime stuff.
All right.
You like anime stuff?
Well, no, not really. I just want the live
action.
action. Actually.
I think so.
I thought I looked like a combat guy, you know, UFC,
Combat?
You're boxing
whatever you
and stuff
want,
like that, you know
whatever
what I
you
mean?
want.
Cobra Kai.
Okay, so look, man, we're having too much fun. Does this happen? I mean, I gotta watch
don't
the
know.
after show a little more. Okay, so there's Gap. All right, let's just go over this real quick, man. We only have a couple more minutes. I'm not keeping this guy too late. He's got to go to the gym. All right, so there's Gap. Am I right on that?
Of course, we got a hockey game tonight. Back in the lineup.
What do you mean back in the
Yeah, I was out. Yeah, I was
Were
out
you
for
injured?
about a month. Yeah, I heard a little knee injury.
What are
there.
we playing? What are we playing? Right wing?
Yeah, we're gonna be back on the wing there tonight. So yeah, we're back. We're back on the wing, brother. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Luffy. Yeah, Luffy Monkey. I think he's the guy's
All
name.
right. Monkey D. Luffy.
Yeah,
Monkey D. Luffy. That's Luffy. Monkey
What
D.
are we even
Luffy.
doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, the more you're doing shows with me, man,
Yeah.
I don't know, your career might be at risk because I just
All right.
like we're having too much fun over
Okay,
here.
so maybe, we're gonna make it more professional here.
No, we're not. No, we're not. You're with me. Everyone likes Joe's glasses. We love Joe. Hey, man, put the ones up in the chat. I got to thank Joe because you stepped up there.
Thank you,
I
Maya.
wasn't aware until afternoon that Adair wasn't going to be here. I asked this man, and he stayed late. So thank you so much for
Try to
that,
stay
Joe,
late.
as we continue to have some good fun. All right, let's review the earnings, and then we'll get out of here. All right, real quickly, man. Get the numbers lined up, Joe.
All
so we
right.
got Big Bear AI. So we're looking for that one. That's a nice move to the downside. EPS minus 5 cents is what was expected. What did we get on Big Bear AI? First of all, they guided revenues 160 to 180 million. So I think they got a nice little move up there on a better than expected. Look at the love for you in the chat right here, Joe. Lots of ones throwing up, man. The chat can't even stop right now. So we love Joe. Thank you so much for all of that. Big Bear AI, there it is. Misses. Oh, geez. Almost threw up a little bit in my mouth there. Their gap was minus 43 cents. Their EPS was minus 43 cents versus an expected 5 cents. Not me.
Oh man.
All right, that's a big meatball miss right there. 43 cents versus 5 cents. Also a miss on sales. But the thing is, the sales right there, 43 million, right? The story that I just read right here on Big Bear AI was that they actually guided FY25. So the full year, 160 to 180. So that's kind of in line with what they just reported. So hopefully they see continuation. I'd like to see that number just a little bit bigger. So that's Big Bear AI. Nice downside move right there. We just went over that. Do you have the Broadcom numbers there quickly? Because why don't we review those, Joe?
Yeah, we're going to pull those up right now. We're going to go over them. So here we go with Broadcom, guys. So we see a Q2 revenue. Okay, so this is going to be guidance, guys, of 14.9 billion versus 14.7 billion. Estimates see Q2 adjusted EBITDA at 66% of projected revenue. Okay, so that's interesting from Broadcom. Let's see what else we can find on here. There we go. We got the numbers here, my guy. So, another guidance here. Q1 2025 adjusted EPS 1.6 beats analyst consensus of 1.49. Estimate sales of 14.9 billion beat 14.6 estimates there.
All right, and Broadcom obviously helping with the whole chip story as well as Nvidia touching out at 112. I am going to sneeze in just a matter of seconds. I promise you I will hit that mute button potentially. All right, HPE, downside move down into 14.9. I mean, I think this is a potential buy area as we get right back in. We are right down here right now. This is where the tick is. You can see where I'm highlighting it with the mouse tracker. $15. We're all the way back down into March lows. So if you've had a chance to take advantage of HPE, man, I mean, now might be the time. Dell kind of feeling a little bit of ways as well recently. There's the move down on Dell as sort of a secondary play on that one. All right, look, man, we got to wrap this up. Joe, thank you so much for joining us. We got your roll call still. Ooh. All right, so everybody is, thank you so much for joining us here today, man. We had a big show, including seeing the NASDAQ touch down 3% and go out near the lows. I think Broadcom will help that move tomorrow. We'll see if we can get some plays on the back of Broadcom. But thank you to everybody there today. Man, looks like we'll be holding, what's up, Charlie? Yeah, looks like we'll be holding BBAY for a while. Thank you, David, man. Your super chats are always well appreciated. That is for sure. Jason says peace as well. Costco now turning to the upside. We definitely like Costco around here. PSTV says Harmon. Thank you so much for that one as well. But everybody that's here, anybody catching your eye on this list there, Joe? Do you have?
I don't have the
list. All
list.
right, that's okay. We'll just keep going. What's up to Alpha, Michael, Viking, Derek, RB Collection, and Ozan. Ooh. Thanks to everybody, and much love for the dried salmon, says Adrian. So I don't know if you had any of that lunch today.
I didn't have any of the lunch
Yeah,
today.
probably a good idea. All right, well, we do this on the show every time. You know what this is? A potato. And then what are these?
Fries.
French fries. So potatoes and French fries. Join us tomorrow, man. Catch Joe at 11 o'clock. I almost said 12 o'clock on the midday. I'll be live at 8:30 with Neil, Sharif, Adara, Brendan will all be here. You guys doing any options tomorrow? You'll be talking about that.
We do it every day. Yeah, we'll talk some options tomorrow,
Okay,
especially regarding Broadcom and some of these other big names. So we'll get into that.
Option talk tomorrow with Joey Options over there. For everybody, we want to say a big shout out to Bears versus Bulls as well. Everybody watching, thank you so much. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Fabian, for staying late. We really appreciate that. Big shout out to anybody that I missed, man. We had Obi on the show, Randy on the show, Big Sharif, and I think that's it. And shout out to Neil. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch everyone tomorrow at 8:30. For Joe, I'm Sean. Ciao.